Hello friends, welcome to Universe of Naruto X. If you love Naruto what if stories and anime explanations, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Now let's begin today's story. She had navy blue long hair that reached the middle of her back and black eyes. She is wearing a long green dress that reached her ankles over a white long-sleeved shirt. Her clothes are a loose fitting but still showed off her rather impressive figure. Choose-san home. And are these the ninja you hired for us? She asked while hugging her father. Tsunami-chan. Yes, they are. They're quite the strong bunch. Already saved me twice on the way back. Tuna replied happily. Miss, is there a room for my student here? She passed out after a fight and would like to examine her and make sure everything is fine. Kakashi asked. Yay, sure. Follow me, Tsunami replied. Few minutes later, here, this is the guest room. You can put her down here. If you need anything, be sure to let us know, Tsunami said sweetly. Thank you. I will let you know if we do need anything, Kakashi thanked while laying Naruko down. Kakashi, is she going to be alright? Sakura asked nervously. Kakashi didn't say anything for a few minutes while checking over Naruko, which made Sakura start to worry even more. Yes, she should be fine. It seems she has suffered from chakra exhaustion, Kakashi finally answered. She should be up in a day, 2 at most. He continued bringing relief to Sakura and Sasaki, though he didn't show anything during all this. Though I don't understand how for as long as I've known her, I've never seen her run out of chakra, and that fight shouldn't have put a dent in her reserves. Kakashi wondered, leaving out this information from the rest of his team. Where are my manners? I'm Hitaki Kakashi. The boy is Sasaki, and the pink-haired one is Sakura, and the passed-out one is Naruko. Kakashi greeted Tsunami with a bow. It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm Tsunami and my son who is sleeping at the moment is Inari. I should thank you for coming on this mission even though we did withhold some information. Tsunami greeted though said the last part with a bit of sadness and gratefulness. It's no problem. Konoha shinobi see all their missions though when your village is back to normal you will still be required to pay the remaining amount. Kakashi replied. Thank you. I will go and get some additional blankets. The girls can have this room. Though this is the only guest room, so the rest will have to take the couches in the lounge. Tsunami said getting up and walking to a cupboard. Thank you. Let's all rest for the night and we'll continue this tomorrow. Come, Sasuke, let's leave the girls to their rest, Kakashi said getting up, followed by Sasuke, who just nodded inside the seal. What happened? Naruko asked getting up slowing while holding her head. Looking around, Naruko notices she is in the seal. Getting up, she heads for the cage and passes through it. Kurama, you there? Naruko asked. I'm here Kit, Kurama answered. Turning to her left, she saw Kurama lying down looking at her with one eye open. Walking to him, she sat against him, enjoying the warmth and softness of his fur. Hey Kurama, do you know what happened? I remember taking a step to follow Kakashi-sensei. Then suddenly I wake up here. Naruko asked not sure what happened. You passed out Kit, Kurama answered. What? Why? Naruko asked starting to get nervous. Calm down Kit. Nothing is wrong. You are just starting to grow your 5th tail. From now on, when you get an additional tail, you will sleep for a day or 2. Kurama said calming Naruko down though was now confused as to why she would be passing out now every tea. She grows a tail. This is because the growing of the tails now will drain you of your chakra as your body changes when each new tail grows. Though you must be aware of a few changes from now on, Kurama continued. What changes? There are not bad are they? Naruko asked a little nervous. Not entirely. The first change is at the start of every full moon. You will be forced into your fox form for a week. During this week, you will be twice as strong as your demon half will dominate your human side. You need to be careful during this time period as you will be more demon than human. The second change is similar to the first. At the start of a new moon, you will lose your demon abilities for a full day. During this day, you will no longer be a demon, but fully human. So, you will lose a lot of your power as well as your fox features. You will be weaker during this period, so be extra careful, Kurama explained. That doesn't seem too bad, though. I think I should avoid doing missions during a new moon, Naruko said, processing all the new information. That would be advised, though, I will warn you. No, During a full moon, you must not kill anyone or anything. Do you understand me? You must not kill anyone or anything. So no hunting for a week. Kurama said in a very serious tone. What? Why? What will happen? Naruko getting very scared. I will be blunt. You will lose sight of yourself. You will be new to the emotions of a demon. Killing anything will cause you to drown in your emotions and you will act on pure instinct. Kurama warned Naruko. Is there any way to let me control my emotions, because I'm sure there will come a time where I am forced to kill? Naruko asked softly. Yes, through training. I will train you to control them when we get back to your village, Kurama said, earning a smile from Naruko. That's good to hear. I would hate for anything to happen because of me, Naruko sighed in relief. One other thing, you should inform your team of this change as tomorrow is a full moon. Kurama said, getting Naruko's attention. It's only from noon, so you will still have time. While in fox form, you won't be able to speak to your teammates until you get your 6th tail and learn how to speak. Kurama told Naruko. I see. Thanks, Kurama. I think I will get some rest, Naruko said with a yawn before cuddling up into Kurama and falling asleep. Wrapping his tails around Naruko, Kurama smiled before falling asleep himself. Early morning, following day, waking up slowing and yawning loudly while stretching, Naruko observed the room she was in. It was a simple room, bed in the middle of the room which her and Sakura were occupying. A cupboard in the far left corner and window on the right. Behind her was the door to the room. Slowly getting out of bed, Naruko opened the door to find a place to shower and get ready for the day. Stepping out and turning into the corridor, she saw a 7-8-year-old kid who had a very dark blush on his face. Hey kid, what's wrong? You look very flushed, Naruko said, walking up to him and bending down slightly to put her hand on his forehead. You are my IFFF, fine thought. Could you please put SS some CC clothes on? The kid said, his face turning completely red. Huh? Naruko asked, confused. Looking down, she looked at herself only to find she was stark. This caused Naruko to smirk. The kid, seeing the smirk, started to sweat furiously, not liking where this is heading. Era, why don't you like what you see? You can see more if you like, Naruko said in a seductive voice while standing up in a pose while biting her finger and letting her tails brush over her skin and another moving to caress the kid's face softly. At this point, Kakashi turned the corridor to see if Naruko was alright, only to see her shifting into a seductive pose and hear her speak in a voice that would make all men hard instantly. The kid, not being able to take the embarrassing situation, passed out with smoke coming out of his ears. This now allowed Kakashi to see Naruko in her full glory. Well endowed, firm, a well-toned, flat stomach, slightly able to see a six-pack forming, long, slender, firm legs with her leg muscles showing slightly. Her body had a perfect full tan, no pale or white spots anywhere, clearly suntanning when she got the chance. Kakashi, seeing this along with her tails caressing her body, her fox ears visible and hair down, got a massive nosebleed. Kakashi was sent flying and hitting the wall behind him. Wondering what the noise was, Naruko looked up to see a very pale Kakashi passed out, twitching against the wall with a pool of blood by his feet and the biggest grin that could be seen through his mask. Naruko laughed while heading back to her room to get her clothes. 2 hours later, after everyone had showered and dressed while Kakashi cleaned the blood stain on the floor, Team 7 all got together in the guest room. Naruko, I see you're better now. You lost a lot of chakra yesterday. Do you know why? Kakashi asked, happy to see that Naruko was well. Yes, I do. And I have something I need to tell you three, as it has to do with me passing out. Naruko said to her team. Didn't you just use too much chakra from your fight yesterday? Sakura asked. Nope. After a fight like that, I would normally still be on a full tank of chakra. Naruko replied. What, really? How much chakra do you have? Sakura asked, surprised, while Sasake was also curious but didn't show it. Kakashi, speaking up for Naruko, answered the question. I would have to guess around a low-tailed beiju, which is around double if not more than what the Sandaime has, he said while sitting in a thinking pose. Both Sakura and Sasake went wide-eyed at this. Sasake was wondering how on earth did Naruko have so much chakra. It had to have been her being part demon. So what is it you need to tell us? Kakashi asked. My passing out was due to me getting my 5th tail. See, Naruko said, spreading out her tails, showing all 5 of them. In addition to my senses, strength and chakra capacity increasing, I get additional abilities from them. One that I have discovered is my ability to shapeshift. Naruko informed. Shapeshift. Both Sakura and Sasake said, confused. Yay. It allows me to changing into anything I can think of without the use of chakra. Naruko explained while changing into Sasake and then turning back. So that's what you did yesterday with the shuriken and kai. Sasake said, realizing what she did. Yep. Naruko said with a giggle while rubbing the back of her head. So, what does you passing out have to do with it? Asked Kakashi. From now on, when I grow a tail, I will sleep for a day or 2 while it grows, Naruko answered. I see. Do you know when you will grow your other tails? Kakashi asked, hoping that she does so it doesn't happen while on a mission like it did now. No, sorry, I can't. It seems to happen randomly. There is one last thing you need to know, Naruko said in a serious tone, causing her teammates to raise an eyebrow. And what would that be? Kakashi asked, hoping it wasn't something bad. During a full moon for a week, I will be forced to remain in my fox form, and I will be more demon than human. During a new moon for a full day, I will become fully human. So, I will lose a lot of my strength and my fox features, Naruko informed. I see. So, we will have to avoid missions during your new moon phase. While a fox, you will be unable to speak, Kakashi asked. Yes, for now until I get my 6th tail, I will be unable to speak, Naruko confirmed. Well, this could be interesting and full moon should be in the next 2 to 3 hours, Kakashi said, noting when the next full moon is. Now, onto what I have to say, Kakashi said, changing the subject. I fear that Zabuza is still alive, Kakashi said seriously. What? All 3 said loudly. But I thought you confirmed that he was dead. Sasuke asked. I did. Tell me what you know about Oyons. Kakashi asked. There are ninjas that hunt and kill ninjas that have abandoned their village. Sasake replied. Correct. When an Oin kills their target, they dispose the new Kinen's body so their village secrets don't get into the hands of other villagers. If is needed, normally the head is enough, Kakashi said while thinking about what Oyons do. Sasuke's eyes widen realizing this that Oin left with Zabuza. Don't they normal dispose the body right there? He asked seeing where Kakashi was going. That's correct, Sasuke. So that means that the possibility of Zabuza being alive is high. Kakashi confirmed seeing that Sasake was thinking the same thing. Okay, I get it now. So Oin hunt new Kinen and get rid of their bodies on the spot and take the head back as proof. So the so-called Oin was helping him, Naruko said, learning about what Oin is. Correct. Oin know the human body very well. So being able to put someone in a false state of death is very easy and some bonds are used for acupuncture. For this week, you will be training and preparing for Zabuza's return, Kakashi said to his team. First, we need to inform Zuna and his family about Zabuza and Naruko's incoming change. Kakashi said getting up, followed by the rest of Team 7. For the next 2 hours, Team 7 explained about Zabuza and Naruko while having breakfast. 2 hours later, in a forest nearby, before Kakashi could speak, Naruko knelt down, clenching her head. Knowing what was about to happen, Kakashi told the rest of his team to back a bit. Not knowing how much Naruko would change, as she is supposed to be more demon than human. Get back. I don't know what will happen, so be on guard, Kakashi ordered, getting back himself and preparing for the worst. Sasake and Sakura moved next to Kakashi, not knowing what else to do. Slowly, Naruko twisted and contorted while changing into a 5-tailed gold blonde fox a bit taller than Sasa. Slowly, Naruko's eyes opened. Her blue eyes were replaced with pure golden eyes shining almost as if they were glowing. Shaking her head at the bizarre transformation, Naruko slowly opened her eyes and saw her team looking at her and were quite tense. Seeing that they didn't know what to expect, Naruko sat on her hind legs while her tails wagged happily about behind her. Seeing this and the smile appear on the fox, Kakashi calmed down, which Sasake and Sakura did as well. The 2 genins slowly walked to Naruko. Sakura put her hand on the fox's head and seeing Naruko do nothing, started to pat her. Naruko started to purr in fairly deep growl-like sound. Sakura giggled at this and continued to pat the Naruko fox. Sasake noticed that this was a rather big fox. The fox was a bit taller than him and Sakura. Sasaki felt this was a bit intimidating, though would never admit it. So you can't speak like this, but can you still understand us? Kakashi asked, now standing next to the rather large fox. Naruko stopped purring and turning to look at Kakashi before nodding her head. Kakashi was happy that Naruko still seemed like her and could still understand them. Kakashi asked another question so he could know if he could continue this training session. Naruko, are you still able to use chakra? Kakashi asked, in which Naruko nodded again. Looking at her paws, he asked another question. Seeing your paws, I'm guessing that you can't do hand seals. Kakashi asked Naruko, who once again nodded. Alright, now that that's out the way, let's start training. For this training, you will be learning how to climb trees, Kakashi said, giving out the training details. Climbing trees. But we can already do that, sensei. Sakura asked, confused by this. Ah yes, but this time you are not allowed to use your hands, Kakashi explained further. Kakashi walked up to the tree and started walking up the tree as if he was still walking normally on land. This surprised the genin. Kakashi stopped standing on the bottom side of the branch, looking down to his team sticking to the tree like glue. To do this, you need to focus on your chakra and collect it at the bottom of your feet. This will allow you to stick the tree's surface, as collecting chakra at the bottom of your feet is the hardest place to do so on your body. Mastering this means that it will increase your chakra control greatly and allow you to use jutsu more effectively and stop wasting unnecessary chakra. Naruko, for you this will be doubly effective as you have 4 feet in which you must send chakra to Kakashi. Kakashi then threw 2 kannon landed by Sasaki, another by Sakura. Naruko, normally you have get a kanai as well, but with you in that form, I don't think you would need it. You have claws, so use those. When you reach your maximum height, mark it and try to best it the next time you try, Kakashi said, explaining what the kanais were for. It's best if you give yourselves a running start. Though, Naruko, due to you being a fox, I think a running start would defeat the purpose of this. So, try climbing up without the run-up. Kakashi gave advice, though thought that Naruko could just run up just from momentum alone. Sasaki was the first to try, running up the trip. He slipped when he was halfway up to the first branch and so marked his point. Sakura was the next to try and easily made it up to the first branch on her first go, surprising her team. Well done, Sakura. You have excellent control over you, chakra. I want you to try this without the run-up this time. Kakashi praised. It was now Naruko's turn. Walking up to the base of the tree, Naruko concentrated as she channeled chakra to her paws. She put one paw on the tree, expecting it to stick. Though, she did something that made everyone, including Kakashi, drop their jaws to the ground. As soon as Naruko's paw touched the tree's trunk exploded away from her, making a huge hole in the base of the tree. This caused the tree to fall towards her and Sasaki. They both quickly jumped to the side to avoid the tree. Oi! Baka, what the hell are you doing? A very annoyed Sasuke shouted to Naruko. Sasaki thought this was some prank on Naruko's side. Naruko had a sorry look on her face and had her tails between her legs. Sasaki calmed down when he saw this. He realized that it wasn't a prank. Naruko, how did you do that? Sasaki asked. It seems that Naruko put way too much chakra into her paws. Normally, if you use too much chakra, you push too hard against the tree, and if you use too little, you tend to slip off. Kakashi explained. Though to be honest, I've never seen someone make a tree explode while doing this. Naruko, try using as little chakra as you are able to and work up from there. We don't want to destroy the forest, Kakashi said, not sure what to make of this. The only time Kakashi had seen a tree explode is from people using jutsu on it, not using the tree climbing exercise. Naruko tried again. Though she didn't bring the tree down, she still made a decent-sized hole in the tree, making Kakashi's sweat drop. Just how much chakra does she have? The amount of chakra need to make a tree explode like that would make quite the dent in my own reverses. Kakashi thought, still not sure how much chakra this girl has. After a few more times, Naruko managed to only make a hole the size of a fist. Now wanting some help, Naruko walked over to an exhausted Sakura. Using her claw, Naruko caved a question into the tree, then tapped Naruko with her tail and pointed to the question. Feeling a tap on her shoulder, she looked up to see Naruko using her claw to point to the tree. Looking to where Naruko was pointing, Sakura saw a message caved into the base of the tree. The message said, "Sakura, can you please give me advice on how to do this? I seem to always use too much chakra and make the tree explode." Sakura looked to Naruko to see a slightly saddle-looking Naruko. Standing up and patting her, Sakura giggled, hoping to cheer her up a bit. "Sure, Naruko. The key to this is not to stress, strain or tense yourself. You need to be calm and relaxed," Sakura advised. Naruko gently Sakura as a thank you before going back to the tree and trying again. Slowly calming herself down, Nuko channeled as small amount of chakra as she could to her paws. Placing her paw on the tree, Naruko was very happy to see that she didn't make a hole in it. Happy that the tree didn't explode, Naruko put a second paw on, getting the same result. So she put her last two on the tree and stayed there stuck to the tree. Slowly, Naruko made her way up one step at a time. When she got near the first branch, she lost concentration and slipped quickly, making a mark. Naruko flipped and landed on the ground, not making a sound when she landed. Sakura had been watching the whole thing while Sasaki was too busy running up and falling down off the tree. "Well done, Naruko. Though how did you land so quietly?" Sakura praised before asking how Naruko was so silent when it came to landing. Naruko used her claw to write another message to Sakura. "Strength, agility, and flexibility. I'll explain fully when I can talk again." "Oh, I see. Well, it's pretty cool. Do you think I could learn how to do that?" asked Sakura, still amazed by it. Naruko wrote on the tree again. "I suppose so, though. It will be harder for you." "Cool. Can you show it to me sometime?" asked Sakura, happy that she might learn something new. Naruko nodded her head before going back to practicing climbing the tree. Kakashi had stopped reading when Naruko started writing a message the first time asking for help. Kakashi was very happy with the interaction among his teammates, though glanced to Sasuke, hoping that he would come around soon. Over the next 5 days, Naruko and Sasaki had been going at the tree climbing exercise non-stop. They both passed the first branch on the second day, but refusing to lose to each other. The goal was to see who could reach the top of the tree first. Sakura had trained on the second day, but halfway through went to go guard Tazuna for the next 3 days along with Kakashi. At the end of the third day, the team learned what happened to Inari's father, of how God made an example of him by publicly executing him, completely destroying all hope in the village. This caused Inari to lose all sense of hope and to think that heroes do not exist. Sakura had become quite attached to Naruko in her fox form. At night, Naruko would shrink down to the size of a Kamaru and allow Sakura to cuddle her during the night. Neither were sure of who enjoyed it more. On the 5th night, Sasaki and Naruko come back late after training. Both were very tired, Sasaki more so than Naruko. Naruko was forced to give Sasaki a ride back, who didn't quite like the idea of Sasaki riding on her back, but she couldn't leave him there. Back at Zuna's house late at night, walking through the door, Kakashi smiled at the sight of Naruko giving Sasaki a ride. "Enjoy the ride, Sasaki." Kakashi teased, though Sakura wasn't very happy about this, as it meant in her mind that the two were getting closer to each other. Sasaki and Naruko didn't like this either. This was shown by Sasaki grunting shortly, followed by Naruko throwing him on the floor before shrinking to a Kamaru's size and climbing into Sakura's lap and lying down. Sasaki made his way to the table and sat next to Kakashi on the opposite side of Sakura and Tsunami and Zuna at the head. Sakura was happily rubbing Naruko's ears while listening to her, primarily away. "So Sasaki, how did the training go?" asked Kakashi. "We both reached the top of the tree. I reached the top first, but Naruko can run up the tree fast than I can," Sasaki told Kakashi the results of their train. No surprise there. In her fox form, Naruko is no doubt one of the fastest ninjas in Konoha, Kakashi explained, personally knowing how fast Naruko can be if she needs to be. "It doesn't matter. You're all going to die anyway. There is nothing you can do against God," Inari said, appearing out of nowhere from behind Sakura. Everyone saw Inari walking up to the table with tears brimming in his eyes. Naruko opened one eye at this. If she had been able to turn into her human form, she would have done it and shot back something at him. Knowing that she can't, she just sat there in Sakura's lap waiting to see how well this turned out. Sasaki, not liking someone, thinking that all the training he has done this week has been nothing but a waste, stood up and gave the kid a hard stare, causing him to flinch. Don't go selling us short when you don't know what we can do. We are ninjas. We are trained for this. God is just a small annoyance. Pretty sure Sakura can take him on her own. Sasaki said in an emotionless tone. Hey, what's that supposed to mean? Sakura shot back, not sure if it was a compliment or an insult. No, you won't. You don't even know what it's like living here. You ninjas no doubt live a happily life all protected and praised by the rest of your villagers. You have no. Inari didn't get to finish his sentence. Naruko being extremely pissed off at what he had said, Naruko jumped off Sakura, making her jump at the sudden movement from Naruko. While in the air jumping towards Inari, Naruko grew back into her full-sized fox and hit Inari, knocking him to the ground and pinning him down with her paws on his Muz. Standing over him and looking down to him, Naruko gave a hard, loud, aggressive growl. Inari looking up to Naruko could see the anger in her eyes as well as the fangs Naruko was bearing at him. The growl became deeper and more prominent while Naruko's face edged closer to Inari's face. At this point, Inari was getting very scared, not sure what brought this on and what Naruko was going to do. That's enough, Naruko, Sakura shouted. The growling stopped and with a huff, Naruko walked outside the house to go and cool down. Team 7 thinking it's best to leave Naruko to her own thoughts left her to calm down. Sakura had a rather sad look on her face. Turning to Inari still on the floor, Sakura reached her hand out to help him up. He quickly slapped it away, causing Sakura to gasp before bolting to his own room. Kakashi followed Inari to try and calm him down and explain why Naruko had done that. Sasaki, also being rather angry, left to go to the guest room to cool of himself. During the night, Naruko trained harder than she ever had, trying to avent herself. This caused a few trees to disappear rather quickly. Kurama had to let this run through Naruko as not much else would calm her down. For the next 2 days, Sasaki, Sakura, and Kakashi guarded Zuna while Naruko did her usual training. This annoyed Sasuke because he also wanted to train some more, but Kakashi had told him he needs to recover and let his body rest. Sasaki asked why Naruko doesn't have to as well, getting him even more annoyed. Kakashi told him that Naruko is different and because she is a Hanu, her body doesn't need rest like humans do and her healing ability will do that if she ever does. Sasaki had grunted and reluctantly returned to protecting Zuna. Today is finally the day Naruko can turn back to her human form. Around noon, Naruko changed back and continued training late into the night and falling asleep outside. Next day in the forest, feeling a pleasant sensation by ears, Naruko slowly opened her eyes to someone that looked like a girl rubbing her ears with one of the prettiest smiles she has ever seen. Oh, you up? Sorry, I didn't mean to disturb your sleep, the person said, hoping the strange fox humanoid figure wouldn't be angry. Taking a closer look at the person, they had long brown hair and eyes, wearing a pink kimono with flower patterns on it. Naruko thought this person looked really cute, though wasn't sure if said person was a boy or a girl and was around the same age as Naruko. No, it's good. Quite the pleasant way to wake up, actually, Naruko said happily while rubbing the sleep from her eyes. Oh, that's good. I was about to say that you will get a cold sleeping out her, but then I saw the ears and tails, so I wasn't sure if they were real or if you getting a cold was possible, the person said in relief. Oh, that's kind of you. But yes, they're real, and I haven't been sick yet, so getting a cold might be impossible for me, Naruko said, trying to remember if she's ever been sick before. So, what are you doing out here? Do you live here? The person asked. No, I was training her yesterday and ended up passing out, Naruko replied. Training? What are you training for? The person asked. Oi. I'm a Kunoichi and I'm training so I can get stronger, Naruko said with pride and confidence. But you look strong enough already. It may look like it, but there are stronger people out there and also have something to prove to someone, Naruko replied while rubbing the back of her head. To prove something, so you are getting stronger for the sake of someone else. Do you have a precious person? The person said in sweet voice, making Naruko think that this person is a girl. Ha, Naruko asked a bit confused. Do you have a precious person? Because when you have someone to protect, that's when your true strength surfaces, the person said with a smile. Ha, oh. Yay, I know what you mean, Naruko said with a smile. Getting up and leaving, the person turned around and looked at Naruko. By the way, my name is Haku and I'm a boy, Haku said, waving before leaving. Naruko was quite surprised by this, though. Haku did smell like a male. Wow, and he is cuter than Sakura. Is he really a boy? He did smell like one. Naruko thought Haku is male in this story. Getting up, Naruko went to go hunt for food to say thanks for the hospitably and to apologize for her outburst. Saint a few days back. Naruko only got back near nighttime as she had to travel a bit in order to find food. Later that evening at Zuna's house, walking up to the door, Naruko stopped along with the 2 deer carcasses behind her. Tsunami-san, I got some food as a thanks for your hospitably and to apologize for my outburst a few days ago, Naruko said, showing her catch. Oh. Thank you, Uzumaki-san. And there is no need to apologize. My son was out of line, Tsunami said sweetly. Naruko or Naru is fine. No need for formalities. So, where can I put this? Naruko said she really wasn't the one for such formality rituals and whatnot, as she puts it. You can put them in the outhouse around the back and dinner is ready, so feel free to join if you're hungry. Tsunami said, showing Naruko where to put the deer. Thanks. I'll be there now. Naruko thanked while walking to the outhouse. The next morning, crack thud. Scream. Naruko, quickly waking up to the sounds of a scream, raced downstairs to find Inari running out the door and the living room a complete mess. Naruko followed Inari and saw 2 men holding Tsunami with their swords to her throat. Behind them were about 10 other men, all with their swords drawn. Acting instantly, Naruko charged the 2 holding Tsunami. Naruko reappeared by Inari while holding Tsunami bridal style. Setting down, Naruko slowly started walking to the 2 thugs. Slowly releasing a large amount of chakra and killing intent, making the 2 thugs freeze. Naruko walked closer to them. You touch her again, you will die. Leave now or so hell or heaven help you. Naruko said very coldly. When she got right up to them out of fear, they attacked her. Reacting on instinct, Naruko used a tail to thrust into their chests, completely piecing and killing them instantly. Releasing her tails from the 2 thugs. Naruko's nails and teeth started growing longer, and her fur on her head and tails become wilder. Her fur started to stand up slightly. Slowly licking her lips and walking to the remaining thugs, she grew a very evil-looking grin and baring her longer than normal fangs. Seeing this, the rest of the thugs completely froze in fear. Still walking slowly to them, Naruko's grin grew wider, and her eyes turned gold. Naruko sang out in an all-too-sweet voice, sending shivers down everyone's spine. Let's play. Each step Naruko took, fear increased within the thugs. Some had already wet themselves. The thug closest to Naruko dropped his weapon, shaking and sweating in fear. Dropping to his knees was the final trigger as a blur of yellow flew past him. Screams of pain, crunching of bones, and the sound flesh being pierced. He could hear each one clearly. To make it worse, there was a gap between each one. A gap long enough to know exactly what happened. As quickly as it begun, it ended. All 9 of his friends were dead. Except for him, too overwhelmed with fear to move, to breathe, and even to think, he sat there on his knees, tears starting to roll down his face as he heard footsteps heading towards him. Forcefully turned around, he saw what was left of his friends. Looking upon his friends, he saw that they were either mutilated or just a blood stain spread across the deck. Using one of her tails, Naruko gently and lovingly caressed the thug's face, leaving a blood smear as it traveled across his face. Naruko circled him a few times before kneeling down face to face. A tail positioned itself where the thug's heart was before slowly adding pressure. The thug produced a silent scream as he felt the tail pierce his chest slowly. The strain from too much pain and fear. His body shut down, slumping to the ground before Naruko's tail could completely pierce his body. Standing up slowly, the gold color in Naruko's eyes slowly faded into her normal blue eyes. Blinking several times while shaking her head, Naruko looked down only to see a dead thug with a hole in his chest. What happened? Did it this? Naruko asked with a shaky voice. When Naruko turned around, she dropped to her knees while a few tears rolled down her face. Naruko turned and buckled over, throwing up into the river below her. Naruko saw the once brown deck which leads to Zuna's house, which was standing over water, was now covered with blood and body parts. Getting a good look at her reflection in the water, Naruko saw that sea was covered in blood. Gasping and holding her mouth, Naruko started crying and shaking in fear of what she had done or possibly become. I did this, but why? Naruko said between sobs. Kit, can you hear me? Damn it, Kurama said loudly, making Naruko jump. Kurama, what happened to me? Naruko asked, still shaking. Finally, I've been trying to get to you. It seems you were taken over by your emotions. As to why? Most likely because you are still new to this, Kurama replied, not entirely sure of what caused this. For now, clean yourself and head for the bridge. Your team might need your help. We will talk about this later. Now is not the time, Kurama told while sensing a fight at the bridge. Naruko nodded slowly before running closer to the house and jumping into the river away from the carnage. Naruko quickly washed herself, removing the blood from her clothes, tails, and hair. Slowly pulling herself back onto the deck that held the house, Naruko started running at full speed to the bridge. Shortly before arriving at the bridge, Naruko shifted into her eagle form and flew high into the sky. Looking onto the bridge, Naruko saw that the area was covered with mist and her team were in a bit of trouble. Sakura was guarding Zuna while Kakashi was on the defensive due to Zabuza. A bit further to the right, Naruko saw a dome of some sort, and what she saw inside it made her worry. Inside the dome was Sasake with many sunbeams sticking out of him. Flying to help Sasuke, Naruko saw Sasake collapse. Naruko returned to her human form. While still flying towards the dome, she took off her wrist weights and threw them at the dome. The weights hit a part of the dome each and creating a deep crater when they hit the bridge. As Naruko got close to the dome, she took her ankle weights off and just in time as she landed, making another smaller crater. As soon as Naruko landed, she threw the weights towards the direction of where Kakashi was, destroying another part of the dome. Naruko quickly made a clone to pick up Sasake and run outside the dome with him on her shoulders. As soon as the clone left the dome, the destroyed sides regenerated, leaving the original trapped inside. Finally, taking a look at the dome, Naruko saw that it was a dome made of mirrors with a picture of the One they met a week ago. There was another row of mirrors above the first row that were tilted inwards with a single mirror as the roof. The mirrors were a bit less than double the height of Naruko. I see you were able to allow your teammate to escape this place. It makes no difference. You will not escape. A voice said from all around Naruko. Please surrender. I do not wish to kill you. The voice continued. No need. You couldn't kill me even if you tried. Naruko shot back. Every well you leave me no choice. The voice said with her senses. Naruko dodged the set and bonds that were thrown at her from behind. While dodging, Naruko noticed a blur head from one mirror to another, sending chakra to her ears and nose. Naruko increased her hearing and smell capabilities. Naruko dodged another set of sunbeam while trying to see if she could see that blur again. Though she didn't see the blur, she heard water splash behind her along with a single footstep. Dodging another set, Naruko turned to face behind her and saw the blur this time along with hearing the single footstep. You are fast, I'll give you that, but I'm not anywhere near my full speed. Naruko boasted. Your bluffs don't affect me. You won't be escaping this place, so please give up, the voice replied. Bluff? Why don't you find out for yourself if it's a bluff or not? Naruko said while taking off her jacket and dropping it. When the jacket hit the ground, it made a mini explosion and covering the inside of the dome with dust and debris. The debris made a few cracks in most of the mirrors that surrounded Naruko. If it weren't for the dust and the One's mask, Naruko would have seen the ninja's eyes go wide. During the dust, Naruko made a dozen cage bunken. When the dust cleared, 13 Narukos stood there, each with a grin on their faces. The 12 clones rushed to destroy a mirror, though none made it close as they were all destroyed by sets and bonds. Numbers mean nothing in here. It's pointless to continue, the person said, the voice still coming from all around Naruko. Naruko just grinned and made another dozen cage bunken which each charged towards a mirror. Each clone was destroyed again. While Naruko had the clones attack, she focused on tracking the ninja. Smiling that she was getting closer, Naruko made another dozen, but they were all destroyed before they could even charge. I told you you can't win, so please surrender. The ninja said again with a sigh this time. Naruko said nothing, and her grin turned into a smirk. The ninja, seeing this, was confused as to why, then realized that Naruko was directly staring at him. Before the ninja could do anything, Naruko appeared in front of the mirror while her fist back, preparing to punch. As Naruko sent her fist forward, the ninja slipped out the mirror only to be hit by a tail, sending him crashing through the mirror. As the ninja recovered, twisting their body midair to land, Naruko was upon him again. Naruko punched the ninja in the face, making the mask crack and sending the ninja flying and landing a few meters in front of Kakashi and Zabuza. As Naruko went in for another punch, she saw the face of the ninja and stopped inches from punching the ninja. Haku? Naruko asked, recognizing the ninja. Why did you stop? Haku asked. Dropping her fist, Naruko replied. Haku, you're with Zabuza. Why? He saved me from hell, and as such, I am his weapon to do as he sees fit. Haku answered. Weapon? Naruko repeated. Where I come from, having a Genka is forbidden. And when my father found out about this, he killed my mother right in front of me. As he moved closer to me, saying that he will rid this land of us, I panicked. He called my mother and me a curse that plagued the land and the reason for its destruction. Out of fear, I killed my own father. I was forced to leave and run. No one took me in or even cared to look at me, Haku said softly. The last thing I remember my father saying replayed in my head over and over. You are an unwanted plague. Shortly after, I started to believe what he said was true. And that's when Zabuza-sama found me. He gave me reason to live and to feel wanted again. So, I will do anything to protect him in his dream. He is my precious person, Haku said with a smile. Haku, you, Naruko said sadly. He is like me. Hatred for something beyond our choice and control. Naruko thought sadly, looking to the ground while a few tears rolled down her face. Please kill me. I have no use now. Haku asked. What? Why? What do you mean? Naruko said quickly, looking at Haku. I am Zabuza-sama's weapon. Now that I have been defeated, I am useless. Zabuza-sama has no need for weak tools. So please kill me. I have nothing left to live for. Haku said softly. That's, you are no tool. I will not kill you. Naruko shouted in anger to Haku. Before Haku could say something, both Naruko and Haku heard a chirping sound. Both turned and saw Kakashi's hand covered in blue lightning sparkling around Kakashi's hand. Haku saw Zabuza trapped and held down by a pack of dogs and Kakashi charging with his hand lighting covered extended. Without hesitation, Haku made a mirror before slipping into it. Haku flew out the mirror to intercept Kakashi. Naruko, seeing what Haku was doing, chased after her. As Naruko got close, it was already too late. In slow motion, Naruko watched Haku appear in the path of Kakashi from another mirror he placed in front of Zabuza and take the hit to his heart. Before his last breath, Haku clenched his hands around Kakashi's arm that was in his chest. Haku, well done. What a useful thing I've picked up. Kakashi, it looks like you can't tell the future. Zabuza praised while lifting his sword with his left hand and holding it above his right shoulder. Kakashi saw that his arm was stuck and Zabuza was about to strike. Thanks to the slight hesitation, Kakashi escaped unharmed while holding Haku by jumping back. Haku though got a nasty slash across his back. Kakashi freed his arm from Haku before closing the kid's eyes. Kakashi slowly stood up and looked to Zabuza with a hard cold stare. Appearing in front of Zabuza instantly, Kakashi roundhouse kicked Zabuza towards Sakura and Tazuna. While Kakashi was beating Zabuza, Naruko had retrieved Sasake and placed him by Sakura. Looking back to Kakashi, Naruko saw him standing behind Zabuza with a kunai in both of his hands. Zabuza, using his left hand, swung his sword behind him. Kakashi ducked, letting the sword sail over his head. As soon as the sword passed his head, Kakashi rose and stabbed both kana into Zabuza's bicep. This made Zabuza lose his grip on his sword and sent it flying towards Haku. The sword was lodged into the bridge near Haku's head. Zabuza, this fight is over. You are too distraught to continue. Clearly, Haku's death has affected you, Kakashi said, declaring the fight. Shut it, Kakashi. This fight isn't over yet, Zabuza shot back while the mist surrounding the area dispersed. Well, what do we have here? Zabuza, you useless. Can't you do anything right? A voice suddenly made itself known. Kakashi, Zabuza, And Naruko turned to the voice and saw a brown-haired man in a suit with a pair of sunglasses and a cane in his hand. Behind him, there was a few dozen thugs, all fully armed and with their weapons drawn. Gado, what the are you doing here? Zabuza asked, walking up to Haku. God rammed his cane into Haku's face and kicking him a few times. Take that, you, stain. That's for breaking my hand, God cursed. He is already dead. Leave him alone. Naruko shouted. Don't care, Goto said while kicking Haku a few more times, making Naruko grit her teeth. I never plan to pay you after this. Why hire a new Kennen when I can hire all of these guys for the same price? Goto said while using his hand to show all the thugs behind him. Kakashi, our fight is over. I have no reason to fight you anymore, Zabuza stated while walking towards God. God stomped Haku's chest before saying, Zabuza, some demon you were. Are you going to just let him disrespect Haku, Clear's throat, like that? Naruko shouted while running up to Zabuza. Shut up, kid. He is already dead. Zabuza calmly said back to Naruko. Do you not feel anything? Naruko shouted back, getting angry. No, I don't. Just like God used me, I used Haku. I only used Haku for his Kick Genka. In this world, shinobi are only tools to do as we are told. I have no regrets, Zabuza simply replied. Oi. Do you really mean that? Naruko asked softly. Who the hell is this annoying brat? God asked, getting annoyed. Shut it. Naruko shot back while God gritted his teeth. He loved you. Do you really mean that? Naruko shouted to Zabuza. Naruko, enough. He is not the enemy anymore. Kakashi said while placing his on her shoulder. Naruko just knocked Kakashi's hand off her before walking closer to Zabuza. Do you really feel nothing? Naruko asked again. You were precious to him. He loved you. He threw his life away for you. Naruko shouted while tears started to run down her face. He died without his own dream. To die is a tool. Naruko said softly. But enough for Zabuza here. How can you not feel anything? Naruko shouted while crying. Kid, Zabuza said softly. Naruko looked up to Zabuza and started crying more when she saw him crying. You don't need to say any more, Zabuza continued to say softly. Blah blah blah. Shut it already. You making a noise, God said, giving Haku a final kick hard enough to send him rolling a meter or two. Naruko stopped crying when she saw this. Her head tilted towards the ground, hiding her eyes while slowly releasing her chakra. Both Kakashi and Zabuza turned to look at Naruko after feeling her chakra slowly increase. This talking is wasting time. Where is the group I sent to pick up that, the builder calls a daughter. I need some new entertainment. She will make a great, Goto said with a laugh. Hearing this said Naruko often made her release her full power. Kakashi and Zabuza were pushed back from the force of Naruko releasing her chakra. Sakura went wide-eyed when she could see chakra flowing around Naruko in between the dust that was flying away from Naruko. Kakashi and Zabuza had to cover their eyes from all the dust and wind that was blowing outwards from Naruko. Kakashi thought surprised at the power radiating of Naruko. Just what the hell is this kid? Zabuza thought also feeling the power coming from Naruko. Naruko started walking to God and his gang still hiding her eyes. Each step Naruko made, the ground beneath her feet cracked. Her tails were dead, still pointing upwards and her ears were flat on her head. Gado along with his gang saw Naruko edging closer. The thugs were getting worried, but God was laughing. Did something get you upset? Men get her. It seems there is another, up for the taking. Godo laughed. Naruko instantly appeared in front of God, scaring the, out of him. Naruko grabbed him by the throat with her tail before throwing him behind her. God landing roughly in front of Zabuza, who looked down to see God slowly getting back up. Zabuza used his teeth and shredded his mask apart, showing his mouth and sharp shark-like teeth. Zabuza used his foot to stomp on God's head, repeatedly, making him scream with each stomp. This lasted for around a minute before his screams stopped. Zabuza took one final stomp, making God's head cave in. Seeing God get killed, Naruko looked back to the group of thugs right in front of her. You damn, that was our meal ticket. A thug shouted. Get here. Use this and make them pay. Kurama said, giving Naruko the memory of jutsu. Naruko nodded before jumping back about 5 meters. Am I, Hitsuji, Ashi, Enu, I, you, Tora? Naruko said, calling out the hand seals while performing them and building up chakra in her lungs. Kaiden and Nojutsu. Naruko called out before breathing out a blue hot flame from her mouth, reducing all the thugs to nothing, only leaving a black mark in the shape of the flame on the bridge's surface. The end of the bridge had melted due to the heat of the flame. Everyone there was amazed at the jutsu Naruko just used. Sasaki had just woken up a few minutes before, and when he regained his bearings, he saw Naruko perform the jutsu silently, thinking, when did Naruko learn to do that? Zabuza walked up to Naruko, who was still looking to where the thugs used to be, and put a hand on her shoulder. Thank you, kid. You reminded me that shinobi are also human and can't completely kill their emotions. Zabuza thanked. Naruko just turned her head to look at him with a small smile. Kakashi at this point walked by to Naruko while Zabuza had walked over to Haku. Haku, I am sorry and thank you for everything, Zabuza said, kneeling over Haku and picking him up gently while a few tears rolled down his face. It started snowing, which only lasted about a minute. Snow. Haku, are you crying? Zabuza asked softly, while the rest were confused and amazed by the sudden appearance of snow. I would like to bury him, Zabuza said, looking towards Kakashi. Sure. My team will clean this up, Naruko. You may go with him if it's all right with you, Kakashi replied while looking to Naruko before Zabuza. Sure, kid. I'm sure Haku would have liked that, Zabuza said while jumping off the bridge and walking the short distance to land on the incomplete side of the bridge. Burial site. Both Zabuza and Naruko sat there in silence, praying their wishes and respects for Haku for about half an hour before Zabuza spoke up. Haku was a kind and gentle kid. It pained him to fight you as he wished not to harm anyone but show them love and compassion. He fought both for you and myself, Zabuza said softly while standing up. He fought for us? Naruko asked a bit confused. Yes, it's the reason why your teammate still lives, Zabuza said, explaining what he means. Is what you said true about being a ninja? Naruko asked quietly. I can't speak for Konoha, but in Kiri, we are not meant to pursue ambitions, but to become the vill's greatest weapon and tool, Zabuza answered. It's the same for Konoha. Each and every ninja has to live while dealing with that issue, Kakashi said appearing from behind. Naruko and Zabuza turned around to see Kakashi standing there with a neutral expression. He is right, you know. I can speak from experience, Zabuza confirmed. Is this what it means to be a true ninja? Naruko asked softly and sadly. Unfortunately, yes, Naruko, Kakashi answered. You know what that Naruko declared, to which both Zabuza and Kakashi raised an eyebrow at that. I've decided I am going to be a ninja in my own way, Naruko said with pride and confidence. This kid, Zabuza thought while his eyes widened. Kakashi's eye also widened before doing his famous eye smile. Zabuza, what are you going to do now? Naruko asked. If it's fine, I think I will stay for a month or two to help defend the village for a while. When I've healed and rested, I'll leave so I don't attract the wrong kind of attention. Zabuza asked, still not sure himself of what he is going to do now. It should be fine, right? Kakashi-sensei. Naruko asked, looking at Kakashi, who nodded in return. 1 week later on the bridge. Thanks to Naruko and her clones, the bridge was completed within a week. They had been attacked once by a group of bandits that wanted revenge for what happened to God. The group had been unlucky as Zabuza had been guarding at the time of the attack. None were spared. Naruko and Kurama were still not sure as to why Naruko lost it like she had. Naruko had told Kakashi about this, who in turn had to give her the killing speech. This calmed Naruko down a bit, but was still frightened as it might happen again. What truly had Naruko worried is that her friends might end up being hurt if she did end up losing it again. Her team had reassured her that they would be fine, as no matter what became of Naruko, she wouldn't hurt any of her friends and that they would always be there. From us and the rest of the village, we thank you for freeing us from God. We will be forever in your debt. Tuna thanked. No need. We were only doing our job. If you need more help, Konoha will be more than happy to help. Kakashi replied, earning a smile from his team. And to Zuna. Anari, be sure to take good care of your mother. Make sure you grow up strong and keep well. Naruko said to Inari while kneeling in front of him before pulling him into a hug, who nodded in return. Standing up and walking to stand next to her team, Naruko turned to face Inari once more. If you ever want to see all of me again, you're more than welcome to, Naruko said in a seductive voice before blowing a kiss to him and using her tails to caress her body. Inari's face went completely red before hiding behind his mother, too embarrassed to be seen. This of course made Tsunami quite curious and shot Inari a questioning look, who only answered by hiding his face behind his hat. If it weren't for Kakashi's mask, you would have seen a drop of blood running down from his nose. Sasaki and Sakura were confused by what Naruko had meant. When Sakura saw Naruko caress her body with her tails, she instantly caught on and started blushing hard. Naruko Uintaro, Sakura said, turning her back to the villagers, sending them off and crossing her arms, still blushing quite hard. Kakashi-sensei, I blame you. This is your fault, Sakura said in a disappointing voice while Kakashi rubbed the back of his head and laughing awkwardly. With the last few waves and goodbyes, Team 7 headed back for Konoha. When Team 7 reached the end of the bridge, they saw Zabuza leaning against one of the support pillars. Zabuza, come to see us off? Naruko asked. Happy to see him. Yay. I am. There is something I must tell you though, Zabuza said, seriously getting Team 7's attention. I went to Haku's grave a few days ago and found that it had been disturbed. I found out that his grave was empty, Zabuza told them in a slightly angry voice. What? The Genin trio said while Naruko was clenching her fists. Don't worry about this. I will investigate this myself and we'll keep in touch, Zabuza said while standing up with his arms crossed. If you need anything, be sure to let us know, Kakashi said, also quite angry by this. Zabuza nodded back and disappeared with a swirl of dust and water. Seeing Zabuza leave, Team 7 started walking again back to Konoha. Hoage's office few hours later. The trip back was uneventful, and with traveling at normal ninja speeds, Team 7 returned to Konoha within a few hours. Team 7 were now standing in front of the Hokage waiting quietly while he reads over the report. I must say well done to you and your team. This will be recorded as an A-rank mission and you will be paid accordingly, the Hokage praised. Thank you, sir. I would like to speak to you in private. Naruko, you may stay if you wish. The rest you are dismissed for now. Normal meeting time tomorrow at Ground 7, Kakashi said before turning to his team. You can tell me tomorrow what this was about, Naruko before walking out with her team. I'll meet you guys tomorrow. Then Naruko greeted to her team before walking off alone. Sakura was about to chase after her but was stopped by Sasaki, who placed a hand on her shoulder. Sakura turned to protest but saw Sasaki shaking his head. She just needs to be alone for a short while. If you are really concerned, you can talk to her tomorrow. But for now, she needs this, Sasuke said calmly, stopping Sakura from saying anything. Sakura nodded before leaving shortly, followed by Sasaki. When they left the Hokage building, they headed in separate directions. Next day, training ground 7. Hey guys, Sakura greeted seeing Naruko and Sasaki sitting by the log posts. Sakura-chan, Naruko greeted giving her a smile. Are you feeling better? Everything all right? Sakura said while sitting down next to Naruko. Yay. I'm good, thanks. Feeling better. Thanks, Sakura-chan. Naruko thanked. Sakura blushed a bit at the adding of chan to her name. Sakura placed a hand on Naruko's shoulder, giving it reassuring squeeze. Naruko turned to Sakura and gave a small smile in return. Yo, Kakashi greeted appearing from nowhere and still reading his book. Naruko and Sakura blushed hard at seeing the book again while Sasaki had a faint blush. Do you really have to read that while you're with us? Kakashi-sensei, Sakura asked, still blushing. Hey, a good read is a good read, Kakashi replied. Sakura mumbled something about perverted teachers being a bad role model. Are you really Kakashi-sensei? You are here on time, Naruko asked, not believing this. Kakashi just gave an eye smile in return, removing all doubt as they were pretty sure no one else can do that. Kakashi-sensei, what did you speak to about? Naruko asked. Not much, just about the lack of education the academy is failing to give to certain people. Kakashi replied, still reading his book. Sensei, you really didn't have to do that, Naruko said softly but very grateful for it. No, I did, but don't worry, I gave certain teachers a kind and polite talk. Kakashi said while the genin got a shiver down their spines at that the way Kakashi had said kind and polite. Naruko mentally thanked Kakashi. Normally after an A- rank mission a genin team is given a week of rest and healing, but we have already had that, Kakashi explained. So are we still going to do missions? Naruko asked, not sure where Kakashi was going with this. No. You are unable to do missions for a week, but that doesn't mean we are going to sit doing nothing. For the next month, you will be training every day till you pass out, Kakashi explained in a tone that made the genin gulp. Sasuke and Naruko were extremely happy that they will be driven into the ground with training, while Sakura was starting to get second doubts about this. You surely don't mean till we pass out, right? Sakura asked, a little scared of what is to come. Nope. You will train till you pass out. I have half a mind of making you train while still unconscious, Kakashi said with an eye smile, really scaring Sakura. Right, Naruko. You go do your normal fitness and strength training once done. Return back here, Kakashi told Naruko, who was about to start running off, but was stopped by Kakashi. Oh. Naruko, I forgot. Double all you weights, Kakashi said sweetly. But sensei, they're already at 85 kilograms apiece, Naruko whined a bit. This shocked Sakura and Sasaki greatly. They knew about Naruko's weights, but they didn't know how much they weighed. Well, add 5 kilograms then double it, Kakashi replied. But add 10 kilograms instead then double it. Kakashi cut Naruko off. Naruko kept quiet this time and did what Kakashi told her to do before running off. While Naruko was doing her regular fitness and strength training, the rest of Team 7 did similar training with weights included, but not as bad as Naruko had it. When Naruko returned, she was really tired. 85 kilograms was already a bit much for her, but 190 kilograms apiece was ridiculous. She was going to do her training in fox form. That was until Kurama forbid her. When Naruko returned to the training ground, she saw both Sakura and Sasuke lying down on the ground, breathing heavily and covered from head to toe in sweat and dirt marks. Naruko joined them and lay down in between Sasuke and Sakura. You guys look like you have seen better days. Naruko laughed a bit at their predicament. When Kakashi sensei gave us all that training to do, I thought he would just sit by and read his book, not join us. Sakura said, still surprised that Kakashi had joined them. Kakashi sensei joined, Naruko asked, also surprised. Well, yes. The fight with Zabuza showed that I have softened up over the past few years, Kakashi replied from above the genin. Looking up, the genin trio saw Kakashi crouching on a branch in the tree above them. Kakashi shortly dropped from the tree while pulling out a stack of small paper. Team 7 slowly stood up and faced Kakashi, seeing him hold a stack of papers. Kakashi, what's the paper for? Please don't tell me we are doing a written test. Naruko asked, panicking slightly. Naruko, I don't think we are doing a test. Those papers are too small. Sakura replied, seeing the size of the paper not being bigger than Kakashi's palm. Naruko calmed down, happy that she won't be doing a test. Sakura is right. These pieces of paper are made from a special type of tree that is grown and fed with chakra. When exposed to the slightest hint of chakra, it will react accordingly to your chakra's latent nature, Kakashi said while giving his team each a piece of paper. All you do is channel a bit of your chakra into the paper. If it turns to ash, it's fire, splits into its wind, wrinkle it's lighting, crumble, it's earth, and if it becomes wet or damp, it's water, Kakashi said while channeling his chakra into the piece of paper. The page between Kakashi's fingers wrinkled while Alice the half crumbled. Mine is lighting. Earth is a secondary for me. The more you train with other elements, the more your body becomes used to using them, Kakashi said, showing the paper to his team. Sakura went next. Her paper becomes soaked while a small part of a corner crumbled. Water is your main. Earth is second, but not all that strong, but can change with time and training. Kakashi explained while Sakura was smiling happily. Sasaki followed Sakura and pushed his chakra into the paper. His page wrinkled while about a half of it turned to ash. Interesting. Your man is lightning and not fire like most, though you still have a strong affinity to fire. Kakashi explained while Sasaki smirked. Naruko went last and pushed as little chakra as she could into the page. Know what happens if she is not careful. Her page split into two while one side wrinkled, almost turning into a ball, and the other half turned to ash. Now that is really interesting. Your primary element is wind, the perfect type for you. But you show strong affinity to lightning and fire. That is rather unheard of. Kakashi explained, amazed by this, while Sasaki lost his smirk, not being too happy about that. I think it might be because of my tails. It's the only reason I can think of, Naruko said, trying to think why she has 3 elements. But it could also mean you have a Kek Genka. Kakashi replied. What is that? Naruko asked. Kek Genka are abilities that are passed down through genetics, so only a person of that clan can perform them. The Sharingan is a good example. Kek Genka can be jutsu-based or body enhancement-based, Kakashi explained. Haku had Kek Genka. By mixing water with wind he can create ice. Kakashi explained further. Naruko nodded, understanding what a Kek Genka is. So I could have one. How would I find out? Naruko asked. I will tell you when you get the hang of using your elements. So for now just focus on that. Kakashi said, not wanting to get too far ahead. Naruko answered with a nod. So, we now know your elemental affinities, but before we get to them, you will need to increase your chakra control. Naruko, Sasaki, you already know how to use fire, so it might go quicker. Kakashi said to Naruko and Sasaki, who both smirked at that. The next chakra exercise you will be doing is water walking. Using the same principle as the tree climbing, only this time, you must constantly release a changing amount of chakra to stay afloat, Kakashi said while walking to the nearby river. With his team following him, Kakashi walked on water a few meters out before facing them. The Genin trio were amazed that they would be able to walk on water soon. So get to it. You may take your clothes off, but keep the weights on, Kakashi said with a slight grin. Naruko and Sakura didn't like the way Kakashi had said that, while Sasaki removed his, leaving him in his pair of boxers. Sakura blushed hard at seeing Sasaki like this, while Naruko had a slight blush at seeing Sasuke's slowly forming muscles. Sasaki, __, Sakura sang out, creeping Sasaki out a bit. Now he wasn't too happy with the idea of stripping, especially with Sakura around. Kakashi-sensei, can I please get my swimming costume first? Naruko asked shortly, followed by Sakura asking if she could go as well. Kakashi nodded before Naruko and Sakura quickly ran to get their costumes. Kakashi secretly wanted to say no, but held against saying it for fear of what might happen if he did. When they returned, they were still in their normal clothes. This confused Kakashi. I thought you went to get your costumes. Kakashi asked, a little disappointed. We did. We aren't going to walk around the village in them. Sakura shot back, not liking the idea of walking around the village virtual. Naruko and Sakura removed their clothes while leaving on their weights. Naruko and Sakura were wearing an orange and pink bikini respectively, while Sakura had a decent body for her age. Still rather flat but well-toned stomach and legs. Naruko, on the other hand, it didn't look like she had a 13-year-old body. More like a well-matured 17, 18-year-old body. Going on to D-cup. Well stomach with a six-pack showing slightly and well-toned slender legs. Carved muscles showing quite nicely. While Sakura was a fair bit pale, Naruko had a perfect suntan body. Sakura was quite jealous of Naruko's body, shown by her mumbling about how unfair it was that Naruko could look so good. When Sasaki saw Naruko, he blushed rather hard, which didn't go unnoticed by Naruko. Sakura thought he was looking at her. Kakashi, in the meantime, almost lost consciousness when he saw them. Sasaki, do you like what you see? Sakura sang out to Sasaki. Wasn't looking at you, Sakura. Sasaki said softly but loud enough for everyone to hear while taking glances at Naruko. Seeing Sasaki look at Naruko, this got Sakura rather unhappy. Damn you, __, stealing Sasuke from me. Sakura said, giving Naruko a glare, who returned her own instantly. How can I steal something from you that was never yours in the first place? You, Naruko shot back. Sakura just kept quiet at this and walked to the river to train. Naruko smirked, knowing that she shut Sakura up for a good while. Sasaki and Kakashi just sweat dropped at the bickering, while both were thinking along the lines of, damn girls. I thought they were over that by now. Kakashi thought with a sigh. For the rest of the day, Team 7 practiced walking on water. All three getting the fair shares of being dumped. Team 7 spent a week on the water walking exercise and getting dumped. Sakura had completed the exercise on the third day, but was then forced to do her normal training on water instead of land. This had Sakura getting dumped a few more times. Sasaki had achieved the exercise on the 5th and had to join Sakura in training on water and not land. Sasaki had bragged that he had beaten Naruko in the exercise, but Kakashi had said that it was irrelevant as Naruko has a lot more chakra than the rest of her team combined. Sasaki now wanted to do some kind of chakra capacity training, to which Kakashi said they were already doing that. Naruko had completed the water walking exercise on the 7th day and joined her teammates in training on water instead of land. Though unlike the rest of her team, she may have taken longer to get the exercise down. But now she had yet to get dunked from training like the rest of her team. This confused her teammates as they still got the occasional dunk. Kakashi had told them that tomorrow that they will start with the Saizutsu Hanka training. All 3 genin were very excited for tomorrow, Naruko more so as it meant that she will be learning more jutsu next day. Yo, Kakashi greeted, appearing out of nowhere again and still reading his orange book. Yep, still not used to you arriving early. Naruko deadpanned. Kakashi-sensei, you are always reading that book. Surely you have finished it by now. Naruko said, wondering why Kakashi is still reading the same book. Oh, this is the 2nd addition to the Ichi series. Ichi Violence. Kakashi explained in all too happy voice. This is a clear masterpiece of writing. The plot, the romance, and action are just perfect. The timing. All right, I get it. Now, can we start with the training, please? Naruko said, half begging, not wanting to listen to Kakashi explain as last time she asked. Kakashi didn't stop talking about thing for days. Kakashi stopped talking and gave a depressed look and mumbled something about youth nowadays don't give the time to understand literature. Naruko heard this and got a tick mark on her forehead but chose not to say anything as she wanted to train in ninja stuff, not on how to argue with someone. Coming out of his depressed state, Kakashi got his team's attention by calling them all over to him. The main thing you must take note is that each element is stronger against one element and weaker to another. The order goes as follows. Fire is stronger wind. Wind is stronger than lightning. Lightning is stronger than earth. Earth is stronger than water. And water is stronger than fire. Kakashi explained. So if someone uses a Kaiden jutsu, use a Suiden jutsu to counter it or use a Futon jutsu to make the Kaiden jutsu stronger. Kakashi explained further. You should train yourself so that the only weakness you have as a team or ninja is the lack of imagination. Learning to use Shichutsu Hanka opens up many ways to do things. So get creative. Kakashi continued. You will be learning how to use your primary element first. But first you 3 go and do your normal fitness and strength training. Naruko, increase your weights to 200 kg. Sasaki, Sakura, increase yours to 30 kg and 25 kg respectively. Kakashi told them. And they went off to go and do as told. 2 hours later, all 3 genin slowly made their way towards a tree to rest under from their intense training. Naruko didn't look as tired as Sasaki or Sakura. This made them both request as to how much stamina Naruko has. The genin saw Kakashi returning with another person. This person was wearing the regular jonin outfit, but instead of the usual blue or black shirt and pants, his was gray. On his head though, he was wearing a weird metal helmet only surrounded the sides and top of his face with the Konoha symbol on it. He had brown short wild hair and black eyes. All 3 were confused as to why this other guy was here. Naruko recognized his scent but couldn't remember where from or why. Yo, this is Tenzo. He used to be on my Anbu team. Tenzo meets Sasaki, Sakura, and Naruko. Kakashi introduced the guy next to him. Kakashi-sini, you know it's Yamato when I'm outside from my Anbu post, Tenzo said with a bit of IGH. Nice to meet you though. Could you please call me Yamato? Yumato said to the genin, to which all 3 nodded in return. Anbu H. I think that's why I recognize your scent, but still can't place you, Naruko said while still trying to figure out who he is. Well, maybe you will know me as Tora. I replaced Taki after he left Anbu. Yumato explained. Tora-san. Oh. I remember now though you never showed yourself like rest but oh well. Naruko said remembering now. So why are you here? You going to help us with our training? Naruko asked. I'll explain now once I have told Sasaki and Sakura what they have to do. Kakashi answered before turning to Sasaki and Sakura. Sasaki, go get some leaves and try to make the leaf wrinkle so it becomes a ball. Sakura, do the same but instead try to get the entire leaf covered with water. Go train somewhere else around here. Return if you need help or have completed the task. Kakashi ordered. With the two gone and Naruko left, Kakashi sat down followed by Yamato and Naruko. Now before I explain why Yamato is here, I need to explain the Cage Bunch no Jutsu. Kakashi said, making Naruko a bit confused. I will tell you straight. The technique was created by the Nadim Hokage Senju Tobarama. It was originally used to scout out positions. When a Cage Bunch dispels everything that it has learned will transfer to the original and any other active bunch, Kakashi explained. Naruko's eyes went wide at this, now thinking of all the things she can now do with the Cage Bunch. Kakashi saw Naruko's eyes widen before a grin appeared. Kakashi could see the gears in her head turning. By that reaction, I see you can see the implications for this. Yes, you can use this to train and to learn, Kakashi said while Naruko's grin got wider. Now for the reason as to why Yamato is here. Using this training method requires a lot of chakra, which you have plenty of. The concern though is that when you run low on chakra, Kyuubi may start to leak from you and you may lose control of yourself. Kakashi explained. This confused Naruko. Wait, Q-chan wouldn't do that. Naruko said firmly. What Kakashi says is true, but seeing as we are close to each other, my chakra may still leak, but you will remain as yourself. I have no need or desire to control you anymore. My chakra releasing will, if anything, helps you in your training, as you will have more chakra to use. Kurama told Naruko, making her happy. Thanks, Kurama. You are the closest friend I have, and thanks for the help. Naruko replied mentally to Kurama. Who-chan? Both Kakashi and Yamato asked, confused. Naruko hadn't told anyone about her relationship with anyone, not even the Hokage. There was no reason for this, just that the topic was never brought up, so she never said anything. Yay. Who-chan is my best friend. He says that his chakra might leak, but he won't take control of me, Naruko said with a smile. Naruko, you must be careful with Kyuubi. He might be tricking you, Yamato said. I know you have had contact with Kyuubi before, but I didn't know you could openly communicate with it, Kakashi said, a bit suspicious. It's a him, not an it, Naruko said. Rather unhappy by Kakashi calling Kurama and it. Besides, you haven't bothered to get to know him. I have. He has feeling just like everyone else, and he is not tricking me. I can prove it by the fact that I know his true name. Demons only tell the names to who they see as worthy and as a friend, Naruko said in a very clear, disappointing voice while crossing her arms while standing up for Kurama. Kurama was rather happy to have someone stand up for him for a change. Though didn't let Naruko see or know. Naruko was quite protective of Kurama, as she can relate to the loneliness and pain of being seen as a weapon or something that's not alive or not who you really are. After seeing and hearing what Haku had been through, Naruko only strengthened her vow of making sure she would do anything to help others in the same situation. Kakashi felt bad at not considering that Kyuubi might just be like all other life forms. Huey has a name and is a he, Yamato asked, raising an eyebrow. Yes, he does. This just proves that humans are the real demons. I'm not surprised though, you humans barely respect your own race. So, how do we expect you to respect others? Naruko said sadly and softly. I'm sorry. I didn't realize though, I am still not quite used to life and the way things work. Didn't exactly have a normal childhood, or what little I can remember from it. That is a story for another time though, Yamato said calmly. Well, enough with the gloomy talk. So basically, Kyuubi will still leak chakra, but won't do anything to you? Kakashi asked, trying to diffuse the gloomy atmosphere and getting him back on track. Yippee says I can use it to help with my training. Naruko confirmed. Well then, Yamato, you don't really need to be here anymore, though you can still stay and help out and for in case anything does happen, Kakashi said with an eye smile. Naruko, make as many clones as there are leaves on this tree. Have each clone to try and split the leaf in half using your chakra. Kakashi ordered, to which Naruko nodded and did as told. When Naruko made around 1,000 bunchins, Yamato stood there with his jaw on the ground at all the bunchins Naruko made. Kakashi just laughed at Yamato while saying that Naruko easily can rival a low-tailed Biju in terms of chakra. Kakashi also said that he will never get used to seeing Naruko create so many bunchins. Yamato just nodded with a dumb expression on his face in return. For the next hour, Naruko, Sasaki, and Sakura carried on with their Seishu Hanka training. When an hour passed, Kakashi told Naruko to dispel the all bunchins. Naruko did so and got a lot of information overwhelming her a bit. Kakashi prepared to step in as Naruko should be suffering from chakra exhaustion even with all her chakra. When Naruko just stood there for a while trying to processing all the information and got ready to go again, showing no signs of chakra fatigue. When nothing happened, Yamato's jaw returned to the ground while Kakashi just sweat dropped and shook his head. Kakashi wasn't even surprised anymore. He just gave up trying to understand Naruko. Naruko made another 1,000+ bunkins and carried on. About half an hour later, a bunch walked up to the sitting Kakashi and Yamato underneath a tree that still had leaves. Kakashi-sensei, do you have any tips for me? Naruko asked. Nope, sorry, Naruko. Wind is my weakest element. Wind is one of the rarest types in Konoha. I can only count about 5 people who are wind type, but only one still lives. Kakashi said while thinking. You mean Asuma? Yamato asked, also thinking of who was a wind user within Konoha. Yes, Naruko. You can go Asuma. He should be by training ground 10 or 17. Kakashi said, thinking of where Asuma would be. Naruko said thank you before bolting off, surprising Yamato again as he didn't expect that kind of speed from a genin, let alone a tunin. Kakashi-senpai, just what the hell is she? Yamato asked, not sure though. I'm not surprised, she is turning out a lot like her father, a real genius when it comes to training and being a ninja, Kakashi replied. Training ground 10. Glad I found him. Naruko said happily, seeing Asuma spar with his team. Asuma was wearing the traditional jonin uniform, but had a cloth on his right leg hanging for his jacket. The cloth had the symbol for Hokuni. Asuma had black hair and eyes and closely resembled the Hokage in looks. Asuma-sensei, Naruko shouted, making Asuma and his team stop and look towards Naruko. Naruko, wonder what she wants? Asuma asked, wondering, seeing Naruko jogging to them. Naruko, that's Naruko. I don't recall seeing her with tails and foxtail-looking ears. Shikamaru said, confused. When did Naruko get into cosplay? Ino asked while quietly thinking that Naruko looks very cute with the ears and tails. So I see she is no longer hiding one of her secrets. Wonder what changed? Asuma said, noticing that Naruko has her features out and showing secrets. Both Shikamaru and Choji asked, not knowing about this. What, that she is into cosplay? Why would she hide that? Ino asked, very confused. I don't think that's cosplay, Ino. They look real, Shikamaru said, noticing how Naruko's tail's moving too naturally to be fakes. They are real. You may ask about them, but not how she got them. Asuma said seriously. Shikamaru started thinking about this. Hopefully, with a few questions, he might figure it out. Ino though was really wondering and confused. Shoji was also curious, but left it to Shikamaru to figure it out. As soon as Naruko got there, she was about to ask something, but Ino cut her off. Naruko, are those really real? Ino asked. You mean the ears and tails? Yes, they are, Naruko said while letting her tails move around randomly. Were you born with them? Shikamaru asked. I can't say without telling a certain secret, but will tell you after the Chunin exams, Naruko said sadly, not wanting to hide this from her 2 best friends. I see. Seems troublesome if you ask me. Shikamaru sighed. Why do you have them and how are they real? Ino asked. Well, that's because I'm not human. I'm a Hanu, Naruko answered with a smile. Hanu, half demon, half human. See why you said you kept to yourself? Shikamaru said with a raised eyebrow. Shikamaru thought he had figured it out but would ask Naruko later. Can I touch them please? Ino asked sweetly. Why? Yay. Sure. Just be gentle, please, Naruko said. Not too sure about this. Ino smiled and slowly started gently rubbing Naruko's ears. Naruko's ears twitched the first time Ino touched them, making her jump a bit. Naruko started purring soon after Ino started rubbing her ears. Ah, how cute. She even purr. Ino squealed, making Naruko blush. So you're not afraid of me? Naruko asked softly, making Ino and her 2 best friends raise an eyebrow. No. Why would I be? I think it's terrible. Cute. Kind of wish I had them, Ino said with a bit of jealousy, making Naruko blush quite hard. Well, it's part of the main reason why I kept to myself, as the villagers don't think so, Naruko said sadly while Ino moved to pat one of her tail. Asuma clenched his fist at this. He knows about Naruko's life. Asuma was one of the few people wanting to adopt her, but the civilian council prevented this, pissing off quite a few people on the ninja side. Shikamaru noticed the tone in Naruko's voice and Asuma's sudden mood change, partly confirming his theory. Well, you are still you and the villagers are stupid. You will always be our friend, right, Shikamaru? Choji replied. Yay. It would be too troublesome otherwise, Shikamaru said with a small smile. This brought a big smile to Naruko, while Asuma smiled as well, happy that his students are open-minded. Ino smiled as well while patting a different tail. Thank you, Choji, Shikamaru, and Ino. It means a lot to me, Naruko said softly. So, Naruko, why did you come here? I doubt it's to reveal your true self. Asuma asked, wanting to know why she was here. Oh. Right. I came to ask tips on using my wind element. As Kakashi said, you were the only other person who was a wind user. Naruko said, remembering why she was here. Oh. So you are a wind type. Asuma said, happy that there was another wind user. Yes. Along with fire and lightning. Kakashi says I might have a Kick-Genka. Naruko responded. You have 3 types. Wow. You most likely do have a Kick-Genka. Asuma said, surprised. Asuma sensei, how do we find out what type we have? Ino asked. You will find out tomorrow. I can't have Kakashi upping one on us. Asuma said, seriously, making Shikamaru grumble and mumble about how troublesome things have become. So Naruko, you came here for tips. Seeing as you are also a wind user, I'll tell you if you take my team out for a barbecue, Asuma said, trying to make a deal with Naruko. You're cheating, Asuma sensei, Shikamaru scoffed. Not really. So Naruko, do we have a deal? Asuma asked. Naruko paused slightly. Know how much she and Choji could eat. It's for training, so it's a deal. Naruko said, shaking Oma's hand. Now for wind, you have to think thin and sharp. When you apply your chakra, fold it and make it as thin as you can. Asuma advised. I see, that makes sense, but what can wind type be used for? Kakashi said. It's the best type for me. Naruko asked. Good question. It is mostly used to enhance the cutting ability of your weapons. Asuma answered. Wait, why? Surely that won't make too much of a difference. Sure. Your weapon will be sharper, but Naruko asked, wondering why. Another good question. The sharpest weapon will always win and will render most defenses, if not all, useless, as the piercing power is greatly increased. Here, take this and throw it as hard as you can, at this tree, Asuma said while hand Naruko his weapon and point to the tree. Are you sure I should throw it as hard as I can? I don't want to break this. It's quite the cool blade, Naruko said, admiring the blade, but scared that she might break it. The blade was a small, thick, curved blade, making it like a dagger. But the handle and blade was one piece. The handle had holes in it and a pointed side, making it look like a knuckle duster. Don't worry, that blade is made from a special metal that allows to channel your chakra through it easier and makes it more effective, Asuma explained. All the more reason why I doubt I should throw as hard as I can, Naruko asked, still a bit worried. If you break it, I will forego the deal and let you have the tip for free, Asuma said confidently. If you say so, Naruko still skeptical about this. Naruko her arm back and then threw it hard at the tree. What happened next left Team 10 with their jaws on the ground. Even Shikamaru had his on the ground. When Naruko threw it, the blade went straight through the tree, and the 3 behind it before it lodged itself to the handle in the 4th tee. Wow, that's quite the awesome blade, sensei, Naruko said, amazed at how far the blade went. Every other blade Naruko threw like that could only pass through 1 tree and not even stick into the 2nd. This one went through 3 and went quite deep into the 4th. Right, that wasn't supposed to happen. Asuma said, dumbfounded. What was supposed to happen? Naruko asked, confused, thinking she did something wrong. Well, you were supposed to throw it and it would remain in the 1st tree. Then I was going to throw the other one with my wind chakra and have it sail through the tree effortlessly. Asuma said, still staring at the tree. Naruko, how hard did you throw it? Ino asked, coming out her stupor state. Well, to be honest, I threw it fairly hard, but not at my full strength because I doubted that the blade wouldn't break, Naruko said while rubbing the back of her head. Team 10 just dropped face first into the ground and laid there with a sweat drop on their heads. Getting back up, Asuma shook his head trying to figure out if she was lying or telling the truth. Even more so, why wind type is the best for you? If you can already throw it like that when you add wind chakra. Pretty sure 10 trees wouldn't stop the blade, Asuma said, still partly dumbfounded. Wow, really? That's awesome, Naruko cheered. Asuma quickly fetched his blade to see if it's still intact. Asuma returned with a sigh of relief, showing Naruko the blade. The blade was still in perfect shape, though might be a bit blunt from the throw. Wow, that's one tough blade. I can't count the number for kunais and shurikens of broken throwing them like that, Naruko said, amazed, to which Team 10J asked. Sweat dropped at this again. Well, it looks like you still owe my team dinner, so better pay up soon, Asuma said, still happy that his blade is still fine. A promise is a promise, and I don't take back my words, Naruko said proudly with a grin. So, there is a tip for you. Come back later for more tips. Right now, I have a team to train, Asuma said with an evil grin, scaring his team. Thank you. I shall see you around then, Naruko said before dispelling the clone in a puff of smoke, confusing Ino and Choji. Cage bunken, when did she learn that? Shikamaru asked, surprised. Tuan must have taught her that, and it looks like she figured out how to use it properly, Asuma said, also surprised. How does a bunch help? Ino asked. It's not a normal bunch. That bunch has a physical form and shape and the user learns what the bunch learns. Asuma explained. Wow, that's cool. Can we learn that jutsu? Ino asked. Nope, sorry. It's a kinjutsu and with the amount of chakra you have, it would kill you if you used it to make a single bunch. Asuma said. How much chakra does she have? Ino asked, wondering, seeing that Naruko can make one. No idea. And from what I hear from Kakashi, Naruko can make 1,000 of them effortlessly. Asuma said, still not believing this. All three genin were very surprised by this though. Shikamaru and Choji nod as much as they know from experience how much stamina Naruko has. Surely he is just bluffing. There is no way she can make that many. Ino said, not believing it at all. I'm not sure Kakashi isn't the one to lie or brag about anything. Asuma said, knowing Kakashi. I believe it. She is a stamina freak, asked Choji. He has seen her go. Shikamaru said, agreeing with Asuma, to which Choji nodded to Ino, confirming what Shikamaru has said is true. Ino still didn't quite believe this though, wasn't sure, as Shikamaru also isn't one to lie about these things. Training Ground 7. When the bunken popped, all the Narukos stopped what they were doing before a grin grew on their faces and going back to work. Looks like Naruko is using the cage bunken to its full potential. She will learn things like this at an alarming rate. We may just have another Kyo Senko, thought Kakashi, seeing all the Naruko get the tip from Asuma. Over the next week, Team 7 trained hard. The morning would be fitness and strength training. Afterwards, for an hour, they would do chakra control exercises, though under more stressful situations like dodging shurikens from Kakashi or get chased by dogs. And if they stopped, they got chewed on. Then for the rest of the day, they would focus on Sitsa Hanka training. When Sakura and Sasake eventually come for tips, they tripped seeing the hundreds upon hundreds of Narukos. Kakashi explained to them about Naruko's training method. Sasake, being Sasake, asked, but in a more demanding tone, if he could learn the cage bunken. Kakashi said he would, but he would only be able to use 2 to 3 bunkens max, as it will leave him several drained. Sasake was able to make a dozen and still function normally, but could only manage 2 bunkens for the Sitsa Hanka training. Sasake wasn't too happy about it, but made do with what he had. This also really made him question as to the amount of chakra Naruko had. When he had asked Kakashi how it was possible for Naruko to have so much, Kakashi replied that it partly had to do with her being a Hanu. Sasake asked what the other part was, but was told he would have to wait till after the Chunin exams. Sasake nodded, knowing not to pry on it any further, as it seems to be quite the touchy subject. With Naruko using her bunkens, she completed the training on the 6th day, while Sasake was getting close and should be done within the next week. Sakura was also getting close, though would still be another 2 weeks, she predicted. Sakura didn't have the cage bunch, but her grand control of chakra really helped her a lot. Naruko was made to try and cut the leaf as quickly as she can on the 7th day. The next day, Yamato had made a waterfall surprising Team 7 except for Kakashi. The genin had learned that Yamato could use Moku Denjutsu as he made a wooden beam for Naruko to stand on. Kakashi had explained that Naruko must now cut the waterfall in half horizontally. Naruko had made about 100 bunkans, but when asked if Yamato could make the waterfall wider, he said he would do that in a few days as it takes a lot out of him. Naruko complied and went on trying to cut the waterfall. At the end of the week, Naruko was getting close to cutting the waterfall, but noted that it would take longer. Sasaki had completed his training and then was told to make a special chakra resistance paper into a ball. Sasaki instantly noticed how much harder it was to channel his chakra through the paper, let alone make it into a ball. Sakura, not wanting to get left behind, had asked Yamato for some tips. These tips allowed Sakura to increase the rate at which she got the hang of trying to make the whole leaf covered in water. For the last week, Team 7 had their weights increased to 40 kilograms for both Sasaki and Sakura, while Naruko's increased to 215 kilograms. Sakura had to use her chakra to be able to cope with the amount of weight she had on her. Sasaki also had to, but not as much as Sakura. Halfway through the week, Naruko had cut the waterfall in half and did it a few times to make sure. Kakashi had then told Naruko that she had mastered Wind Chuha. Naruko had then started with Fire Sea Shitsu Hanka, but the first few times she cut the leaf instead of turning it to ash. Naruko slowly started making the leaf turn to ash but still cut it a bit every time. Getting annoyed, Naruko went to Kakashi for help. Kakashi saw Naruko heading towards him while trying to turn the leaf into ash. Kakashi-sensei, why do I keep on cutting the leaf while I try and turn it to ash? Naruko asked, slightly annoyed. Here, do it again so I can see. Kakashi asked while handing Naruko another leaf. Naruko took the leaf, covered it between her hands, and channeled her chakra into it for a few seconds. When she removed her hand that was on top, she saw that the leaf's bottom half is ash, while the top half and a cut almost straight through it. Here, place each leaf in each hand and do it again, Kakashi said, handing Naruko 2 leaves this time. Naruko shrugged before taking the leaves and placing one in each hand. Naruko channeled her chakra to both leaves and was surprised as to what happened. The leaf in her right hand completely turned to ash while the one in her left was cut into many pieces, basically shredding the leaf apart. As I thought, the first thing is that you were channeling chakra through both your hands like you would with wind. With fire, you only need one hand. The second thing confirms my theory. You have Ki Genka. You were able to combine both fire and wind. Kakashi explained. There was one other person I knew who could combine these two. Her name was Pakura from Sonaja, though I don't think yours will be the same as her Shikuden. Kakashi continued, remembering the stories of Pakura and the trail of mummies she left in her wake. Awesome. So, if it's not Shakuden, then what would it be? Naruko asked, happy that she is a Ki Genka. I'm not sure and maybe we'll have to find out what you can do with it. Kakashi said, not sure on this as it's a rare combination. To stop you from cutting it up at the same time, only use one hand and think heat and vibrations or movement. Kakashi advised. Naruko nodded and quickly did as told by taking a leaf and using one hand to channel chakra into the leaf. Within seconds, the leaf turned into ash. Well, it looks like you've completed this part. Now turn this into ash, Kakashi said, handing him a stack of paper. It's a special chakra resistance paper. Turn that into ash and you will have mastered Fire Sejuhanka. Kakashi said, explaining what the paper is for, seeing the confusion on Naruko's face. For this exercise only use 3 additional bunchins as I don't have a lot of that kind of paper. Kakashi said, knowing Naruko would want to spam cage bunkins for the exercise. If you really need to have the rest of your bunchins, try to turn a rock into ash. Kakashi continued. Naruko thanked Kakashi before heading off. Sakura had just arrived, saying she completed the first exercise. Kakashi told her to find a log and to make the entire log covered with water, and when she did that, move onto a bigger log until she can cover one as big as her. At the end of the week, Kakashi had gathered his team at the end of the day to explain a few more things. Seeing his team sitting under a tree, Kakashi walked to them. Right, we have had a hard month of training as I can't completely stop you from doing missions for too long. We will start with D rank missions again. You will have to continue your Setsuhanka training in your own time. Dismissed, Kakashi explained with a few moans and groans. The three genin headed home. Later that night inside the seal, "Hey Kurama," Naruko greeted tiredly while sitting and making hers elf comfortable against Kurama. "Hey, so how was your month of training with Kakashi?" Kurama asked while covering half of Naruko with one of his tails. "It was hard but awesome. Wouldn't have it anyway," Naruko replied while hugging and snuggling into Kurama's tail. "Kurama, do you have any other jutsu besides the one you showed me?" Naruko asked. "Yes, I have plenty, mostly fire ones, not so much wind. I shall show you them tomorrow when you train." Kurama replied, more than happy to show her some. "Is it possible to say cover my entire body with either wind or fire or both using my chakra?" Naruko asked, wondering if she could hope it would do what she was hoping it would do. "Either one, yes, it is. The Raikage from Kumoga covers his body with lightning chakra, increasing his speed, reflexes, defensive, and offensive capabilities. But both I don't know. Never seen or heard of someone doing that," Kurama replied. "Awesome. I think I will start on trying to do that next." Naruko said, happy that it was possible. "Hey Kurama, I was thinking, is it possible to open this cage?" Naruko asked, wondering if she could open the cage. "You are, but you need the key for it. You will have to ask the old man if he knows where the key is. Though before you do that, you need to defeat your evil self, as you will lose control of yourself." Kurama explained, quite surprised at Naruko asking about opening the cage. "Defeat my evil self? How do I do that?" Naruko asked, not having a clue on how to do that. "I can send you deep into your conscious where you will have to face yourself. Only you alone can do that. I can't help you. I can only send you there. We shall start this within a week, so you and I have time to prepare," Kurama explained. "Is that fine? As that is when it will be a new moon." Naruko asked, not sure about the timing. "All the more reason is you will be fully human and will be less influenced from your demon half, and both of you will not have your demon powers," Kurama explained. "I see. Well then, good night Kurama," Naruko said before falling asleep. "Night kid," Kurama said before going off to sleep himself. Next day. Tap tap tap. Ph. Tap tap tap. H. Kakashi. "What are you doing here so early?" Naruko asked, slowly sitting up while rubbing her eyes before stretching. "Get ready quickly. You have been personally requested by the H. Nokuni Daimyo," Kakashi explained seriously. What? Naruko being nervous was a complete understatement. She has no idea why the Daimyo would ask for her. Had she done something wrong? Was she in trouble? Did this have to do with her befriending Kurama? Naruko had taken a good soaking shower, but she was not feeling so fresh anymore. The journey to the Hoage's office was one of the most terrifying trips she had ever taken. She was building up sweat at an alarming rate. Walking up to the door to the Hoage's office, Naruko froze. Her fear was rising. She had heard about the H. Nokuni Daimyo and how he is the ruler of this land. He has the final say of who becomes the Hokage of Kanehage Nosado. Taking a big gulp and calming herself down as much as she could, Naruko knocked on the door. A muffled enter quickly followed. Taking one last gulp and a final deep breath, Naruko opened the door and entered. Upon entering, Naruko saw there were a few people in the office. At his usual place, the Hokage sat behind his desk. To his left was Iruka-sensei. On the right of the Hokage was a ninja that was always present when handing out missions, but Naruko didn't know his name. Standing by the end of the table on the left side was Kakashi-sensei. What got Naruko even more nervous is that her team wasn't here. Only she was here along with Kakashi. At the end of the table on the right side were two people Naruko didn't recognize. The first person was a Talish man wearing an expensive-looking kimono. The kimono is a striped green and light brown and completely covered his entire body. This man had a strange-looking headpiece on, in Naruko's opinion. The headpiece looked like a black hood with a giant white fan on the top. In the man's right hand was a small fan with the symbol for H. Nuni on it. To the man's right was a small girl who seems no older than 5 or 6. The girl had brown hair that was tied into buns on either side of her head, same as 1010. Attached to the buns were pink ribbons that hang downwards covering the girl's ears. She had brown eyes quite big for her size. She had an expensive green kimono that was quite baggy for the girl. "Welcome, Naruko, I would like to introduce you to the Daimyo-sama of Hokuni and his daughter Nuo, the Hokage said, introducing the two people. Naruko's eyes widened, quickly recomposing herself. Naruko bowed to them and greeted as politely as she could. It's an honor to meet you, Daimyo-sama. Naho-sama. I am Uzuaki Naruko. It is an honor to make your acquaintance, Naruko said with a bit of nervousness in her voice. Likewise, it's my pleasure to meet you, Naruko. Daimyo and Nao is acceptable. No need for such formalities. I have heard quite a bit about you. The Daimyo replied with a slight bow. Her daughter doing the same. Hi, though, may I ask what it is you have heard about me, Daimyo? Naruko asked, her nerves calming down a bit. Mostly of how you fought Zabuza and bested him by yourself. You are also the one to stop my wife's cat from running away. That cat has never left my wife's side since, the Daimyo said with praise in his voice. I can't take full credit for Zabuza. My team did help me as well. And Kakashi did best him the second time he appeared. Naruko said while rubbing the back of her head and a blush on her face. Modest as well. It seems I did make the right choice after all. The Daimyo replied. Right choice? Naruko asked confused. Naruko, your next mission is AB going on to a rank mission. You are to look after Naho for a week and show her the life of a ninja. You will still get your normal D rank missions with an occasional C rank mission. The Hokage debriefed Naruko. I am honored to do the task, but are you sure it is wise? I trust you do know who I am and what I contain, Naruko said, not sure if this is wise. Yes, I am well aware, and from what I have heard, you are somewhat close to the Kyuubi. Is this correct? The Daimyo asked. Hi, I am quite close actually, Naruko replied. That is good. Shows you are open-minded to the things around you. I can see the doubt you hold over my decision. Fear not, I have faith that you can keep my daughter safe from harm, the Daimyo said, seeing the doubt on Naruko's face. Well then, I am honored and will do everything in my power to protect you, daughter, Naruko said with a bow. I trust you will, so I must be off. I shall see you again soon, Hokage-sama, the Daimyo said before turning to face her daughter and kneeling down in front of her. Be safe and have fun. Don't be afraid to ask for anything, the Daimyo said softly while the girl nodding with a smile. The Daimyo hugged her daughter before leaving the office. Naruko, you must take great care of her. The Daimyo has put a lot of his trust and faith in you. As you are to show her the life of a ninja, she will be going with you on missions. Though the missions will be safe and consist of no danger, the Hokage said seriously, though with a bit of pride in his voice. You can count on me, Gigi. So, shall we get going? Nah, Naruko said before turning towards the girl with a gentle smile on her face. The girl slowly walked to Naruko. The girls nodded to Naruko with a smile. Naruko knelt down to the girl while patting her head in a loving manner. The girl's smile grew wider before reaching out to Naruko's ears. Nao giggled when Naruko started purring before turning to full laughter as Naruko started tickling Nuo with her tails. This lasted for a few minutes before Naruko stopped and stood up facing Kakashi. Is team meeting normal time or what? Naruko asked Kakashi. No, I told the rest of the team to meet at 11. So, it gives you 2 hours to show Nuo around the village. Kakashi replied. One last question. Seeing that she is with me for the next week, where do I stay? Because where I live does not have the space and it's one of the most dangerous areas in the village and me being there only makes it worse. Naruko asked worried as the villagers might do something very stupid. You are more than welcome to stay at my house. I do have 2 addition bedrooms though you might have to clean it first. Kakashi offered. Thanks Kakashi-sensei. Naruko said while making 2 bunkers. One collecting news baggage and the other going to Naruko's house to get a few of her things. Naruko and Nuo left the Hoage's office while a bunch followed Kakashi to his house to drop off news things. Can I ask you a few things? Nao asked quietly. Yay, sure, and don't be afraid to ask. You may ask anything you like, Naruko said while letting Nao hold on to one of her tails as they walked around. Why did you ask to move? Na asked. Well, the villagers and I aren't on very good terms, so they tend to do some stupid things when it comes to me. Also, where I live is the worst place for you to live in, and my house can only support 1 person, Naruko replied calmly. Do the villagers hate you because of what's inside you? Na asked quietly. Yes, they do, but it doesn't bother me anymore, and I have a few friends, so it's all right. But the friends I have my age don't know about Q. I can only tell them after the Chunin exam. So, could you please not say anything to them about this? Naruko asked. Oh. Okay, no problem. Is it true that you can change into a fox? Na asked with a smile. Yep, even a fox isn't the only thing I can turn into. Though I can only show you outside the village, Naruko said happily, though went softer at the last part. That's awesome. I can't wait to see it, Nao said happily, bouncing up and down a bit. One last thing, Nao said softly. Yes, what is it? Naruko asked, wondering why. Nao asked softly, could you please treat me like a normal person and not some royal princess? Nao asked shyly, with pleasure though never planned to in the first place. Now come on, we have a village to explore right Nuochin. Naruko said gently. This brought a big smile to Nao's face, to which Naruko giggled at. Thank you Naru NC-han. Nao said with glee. NC-han ha. Naruko mentally thought to the name Nuo gave her. Treat her well Kit. Getting you onto her good side will be a very good thing for you. You never know. You might be able to call in a few favors later on in life, Kurama advised. Thanks, Kurama, though. I will do it because I want to, not for the reward later on, Naruko replied. For the next hour and a half, Naruko gave Nuo a tour of the village, showing her where all the clans lived and where the Uchiha once lived. Naruko showed where the playgrounds were, academy, the top of the Hokage monument, the various shops and market districts. Naruko had saved her favorite place for last. Slowly walking up to her favorite ramen stand, Naruko told Nao all about the amazing ramen that no other place could beat. When Nao had said that she didn't know what ramen was, Naruko tripped. Naruko had no idea how this was possible. There was a person who didn't know what ramen was. She thought it was the end of the world. Hell would freeze over. Sasaki would lose his entire fan club. Narune-chan, is this place the one you were talking about? Nao asked, seeing the stand in front of them, bringing Naruko out from her end of the world thoughts. Ha, oh yes, this is the place. The place where the food of the gods is made. Ramen Ikaraka, Naruko exclaimed. Inside Ramen Ikaraka. So was that awesome or what? Naruko said, finishing her 7th bowl of ramen. Nao was amazed at the amount Naruko could eat. She barely finished the first bowl. And here was Naruko finishing her 7th. It was amazing. The chiefs at home don't have anything as good as this, Nao replied, still savoring the taste of ramen. If you ever need any more, make sure to come and get some more, Tuki said with a smile. Tuki and her daughter Ayami run and own Ramen Ikaraka. Naruko is their #1 customer and sometimes gets free meals as a thanks. Oh. I have to tell Sama about this place, Nao said, wanting come here again. Who is your father anyway? Tuki asked. Oh. He is the Nokuni Dame Yosama. Nao said like it was common knowledge and it wasn't a big thing. Tuki stumbled after hearing this. He just hoped that the girl would put in a good word. If the daimyo liked this place, his sales will no doubt go through the roof. Well, be sure to tell him about us. You won't find better ramen anywhere else, Tuki said almost as if he was trying to sell his product. Thanks, Tuki. Gigi. Naruko said while leading Nao out the ramen. New-chan, it's time you met the rest of my team, Naruko said while wrapping a tail around Nao's waist and letting her pat and hold another. Training Ground 7. Hey guys. Naruko greeted Sakura and Sasaki, who was sitting under a tree. Both Sasaki and Sakura saw the small girl next to Naruko and noticed the girl playing with one of Naruko's tails. Sasaki was wondering who the girl was, while Sakura thought it was very sweet and cute the way Naruko had a tail wrapped around the girl's waist while the girl played with another. Ah. She's so cute. Sakura squealed slowly, walking up to the girl and kneeling in front of her. Sasaki also stood up and walked to Naruko to find out what is going on, though Sakura beat him to it. Hi there, and what's your name? Sakura asked sweetly. Naho, the girl replied softly. Nice to meet you, Nao. I'm Sakura. Sakura greeted. Naruko, who's the chibi, and why is she here? Sasaki asked. Don't call me that, Na shouted back, making Sakura and Naruko giggle at the playfulness. This is Nao. Nao, This is Sasaki. He may seem like a great prick, but once you get to know him as really is just a softie on the inside, Naruko said, introducing the two while sticking her tongue out at Sasaki, making him grunt in response. Oi baka, watch the language. Sakura said, hitting Naruko on the head. I really wish you wouldn't do that, Sakura-chan. You hit harder than you think. Naruko said while rubbing her head with one eye closed. Well, don't curse in front of small children. You should know better than that. Sakura shot back. So, Naruko, why is she here? You got stuck with babysitting? Sakura asked, kind of. The daimyo wanted someone to show his daughter the life of a ninja and so chose me to do it. Nao will be with me for a week, he said. Though at this rate doesn't seems like it's long enough, Naruko replied before tickling Nao again for a few minutes. Sakura smiled at the playfulness Naruko was showing with Nuo. Sasaki might have as well if he didn't stop to replay that sentence in his head. Wait, hold up. She is the daughter of who exactly? Sasaki asked, not sure he heard it right. I said she is the DOS daughter. You know, the one that runs H. Nokuni. Naruko repeated. Both Sasaki and Sakura went wide-eyed at this while switching glances between Nao and Naruko. First they see Naruko babysitting, which they didn't think is possible, remembering the few times they had to babysit at the orphanage. Then now it's the DOS daughter he is babysitting. Sakura didn't quite believe this, though wasn't sure, as Naruko has yet to lie about something. Sasaki was busying wondering why Naruko was chosen for the job, because he knew there were much stronger ninjas within the village that would be better and Afa to be with. Why did he choose you? Sasaki asked. Not entirely sure on that one. He said something about making the right choice, though have no idea what he meant. Naruko answered, to which Sasaki grunted in return. And that is for the daimyo to know. I trust all is well, Naruko. Kakashi said, appearing from nowhere, scaring Nuo slightly and still reading his book. Kakashi ni-chan, could you please kindly put that book away? Naruko asked very sweetly, sending shivers down Kakashi and Sasuke's spine. Kakashi quickly hid the book, knowing that something will happen to him or the book if he didn't. Yes, I see all is well, Kakashi said with an awkward chuckle while both Naruko and Sakura kept their eye on him. So, let's go get our first mission for the day, Kakashi said, starting to head to the Hoage's office for a mission. Kakashi reached into his back pouch, but quickly removed it when he heard a cough from someone. Na-chan, how would you like to have a ride back to the village? Naruko asked Nuo with a quick nod and yes from Nu. Naruko laughed before changing into a fox about half the size of Sasaki. Na's eyes widened when Naruko shapeshifted. Na giggled when Naruko picked her up using a tail and placed her on Naruko's back. Sakura's opinion of Naruko changed a bit, as she didn't expect her to be good with children. Sasaki was also thinking along the same lines. Na laughed a lot on the way to the village as Naruko ran circles around the team, sprinting every so often. When Team 7 reached the entrance to the village, Nuo reluctantly got off Naruko so she could turn back. When Naruko turned back, she picked up Naho as she was sitting on Naruko's shoulders. On the way back, Nao felt a little embarrassed at the attention she got while sitting on Naruko's shoulders. Throughout the walk to the Hoko's office, both Sakura and Naruko noticed that Sasaki sent Naruko glances. Almost to the point that it looked like he watched Naruko the whole way there. Sakura was getting rather jealous at the lack of attention from Sasaki. For the next 2 days, Team 7 did a lot of D-rank missions. Nao had asked if this really was what ninjas did. She was expecting fighting or spying or ninja stuff, not manual labor. When Nuo had said this, even Sasaki had joined in with his teammates in complaining and arguing to Kakashi. Kakashi, being a bit outnumbered, told them that they had to deal with it and that he didn't come up with the system, so should take it up with the person who did. This of course brought the argument into the Hoage's office. To say the Hokage was unimpressed was an understatement. The Hokage had simply said that these missions were there for a reason and they were too young to understand the reason. That really didn't stand with Team 7. But when they were threatened to remain doing D-rank missions for a year, they promptly kept quiet. During the evening, Naruko trained hard. She did her normal fitness and strength training, followed by her fire Shishu Hanka training. Naruko started learning jutsu from Kurama and started to develop a jutsu of her own which covers Naruko's body with her wind chakra. She would try it with her fire chakra when she mastered her fire Seijuhanka training. Remembering Kakashi said that the feet are the hardest part to channel chakra to, Naruko started by encasing her feet with chakra. Using her bunchins, Naruko made close around 1,000, making Nu's eyes sparkle with awe. During the second day, Naruko was able to completely cover her arms or legs, but not both. It required a fair bit more concentration than she could handle at the moment. When Naruko covered her arms or legs, she noticed that her limbs moved a lot faster, and whatever she hit was completely shredded to pieces. Many trees were left with rather big holes in them. Naruko, calming down from her training, was wondering if she should go see either Kakashi or Asuma for help with her case no Yoroi. Naruko decided to ask Kakashi first, as she is in the same house as him. Giving a rather tired Naho a piggyback ride, Naruko sent off to her temporary home. Outside Kakashi's house, walking up the stairs to Kakashi's house, Naruko saw Kakashi walking just ahead of her. "Kakashi-sensei," Naruko called out. Wondering who called him, Kakashi looked down and saw Naruko walking up the stairs with Nuo on her back. Kakashi quickly hid his book before stopping to wait for Naruko. "Naruko, how was your training this evening?" Kakashi asked when Naruko caught up. "It went well. I can turn about half of that paper you gave me into ash. But there is something I am finding difficult to do," Naruko replied. "Well done. Those bunkins really do increase the rate at which you learn things. So what is it you are finding difficult?" Kakashi asked, a bit curious. "Well, I am trying completely cover my body with my wind chakra. I guess making it a wind of armor, but the problem is I can only either cover my entire arms or legs. I can't seem to get both," Naruko replied, still thinking why she can't get it right. "Well, the Kase no Yoroi isn't an easy jutsu. Only knew about 2 people who could cover their bodies with their chakra," Kakashi said, impressed that Naruko is attempting such a high-level jutsu. "And here I thought I was coming up with something new. I got the idea after hearing that Asuma can cover his blade in chakra. So, I thought what would happen if I tried it on my body instead," Naruko said, a bit disappointed. "Don't be too disappointed. It's quite impressive that you thought of it on your own. Why do you think you can't cover your entire body with chakra?" Kakashi asked while opening up his door. "To be honest, I think I lack the concentration. Other than that, I don't know," Naruko replied, walking into Kakashi's house. "Concentration is a big part of all jutsus, and what you are doing is called Ketihena," Kakashi said while watching Naruko place the sleeping Nu down on the couch. "Kaihena?" Naruko asked, quite confused. "Yes, Kaihena. It's a very advanced form of chakra control which allows you to change your chakra's movement, form, size, range, and purpose. The best way is to picture what you want the chakra to look like and how you release it," Kakashi explained. "Why do you think the symbol of Konoha is a leaf?" Kakashi asked. "I remember Iruka-sensei saying something about how it helps with concentration." Naruko replied, trying to remember what Iruka-sensei said. "Yes, it does. When you focus next time, focus only on the symbol on your headband." Kakashi said, "Can I show you so you can see if there is anything I can improve?" Naruko asked, to which Kakashi nodded. Naruko did the jutsu exactly the same way she had done it earlier. Blue chakra covered her arms from her shoulder all the way down to her hands. The chakra was swirling around her arms, making it look like there was a tornado around her arms. Kakashi used his sharing to watch how the chakra flows. He watched swirl around her arms. Kakashi nodded and Naruko disabled the jutsu. "Well done, Naruko. I can already see a few things that you can improve. The first is to try and make the radius in which your chakra flows around your arms tighter. This will help increase the speed at which it flows at and will focus the jutsu more. The second thing is try to speed up the rotations as much as you can. Try to rotate it in anti-clockwise and see if it goes faster than clockwise," Kakashi explained. "Why would the direction affect the speed?" Naruko asked. "Because chakra in your body flows in a certain direction when you mold chakra. So rotating it in the same direction will allow it to flow easier," Kakashi explained. Naruko processed the information before saying thanks and carrying Nuo off to her room. The two shared the room as Nao wanted to sleep with Naruko. Naruko was more than happy to comply and used her tails as a blanket for both of them. Next day, Team 7 had to suffer yet another day of dank missions. Naruko was getting bored and annoyed by this. Nothing exciting has yet to happen, and the only way she could get some excitement was if she did a Ankh mission. After Naruko had done her fitness and fire Siu Henna training, Naruko went looking for Asuma for some tips on her Ko no Yoroi. Kakashi had only helped with the Kaihenka side of the jutsu. She now wanted advice on the Siu Henna part of the jutsu. Running to training ground 10 in fox form with Naru on her back, Naruko hoped that Asuma would be there. She knew that this might add to the current deal she had, but hopefully it would be worth it. Team Asuma heard laughter heading their way. When they looked around, they saw a fox with a girl riding it heading right for them. Team Asuma tensed slightly, not knowing what to expect. As that Naruko seems like she wants another tip, Asuma said, really confusing the genin. Before Ino could ask something, the fox came skidding to a halt in front of them, racking up a bit of dust. Naru was let down before Naruko slowly shifted into her human form. About 7 seconds later, Naruko stood in front of Team Asuma, who had their jaws on the ground. Expect of Asuma. So this is the famous shape-shifting Kakashi told me about. It is really something to see in person, Asuma said. Shikamaru mumbled something about troublesome blonde girls and giving up trying to figure out Naruko. Shoji saw that Shikamaru wasn't even going to bother to figure out, so left it, too. Ino, on the other hand, wanted to know what the hell was going on. I am confused. Really confused. That is the weirdest henge nojutsu I have ever seen, Ino said, very confused. It's not a henge, it's shape-shifting. There is a big difference. I will explain later. I don't have much time, Naruko said in a hurry. To which Ino just nodded, still confused. So, you want another tip on when Sitsa Henna? Asuma asked. Partly, I have already mastered the waterfall cutting exercise, Naruko replied. Already? That took me months to do, Asuma complained. Cage bunchins really help, Naruko said with a grin while Asuma moaned, saying how it's not fair. So Asuma sensei, I started making a jutsu and wanted to know if you could see the jutsu and tell me if I can improve anything. Kakashi already gave me advice on Kaihenna. I wanted to know if I can improve anything on the Seijuhanka level. Naruko asked. You are doing Kataihanka training as well. Just what the hell is Kakashi doing? Asuma wondered. Alright, let's see this jutsu of yours. Asuma said, using the advice Kakashi gave Naruko. She was able to get the chakra to hug as close as she could get it to her arms. She also learned that she can rotate her chakra quicker if it rotates anti-clockwise, not clockwise like she had done originally. She also had managed to rotate her chakra extremely fast to the point that it was difficult to see her arm. Naruko activated the jutsu and covered her arms. Asuma was surprised he wasn't expecting her to use the Kase no Yoroi. Kase no Yoroi, quite the difficult jutsu to master but equally as deadly. Asuma said, so what made you decide to use this jutsu? Asuma wondered, well, when you said you coated your weapon with chakra, I wanted to see if I can do that with my body, as I don't use weapons. Naruko replied, you got the idea from that. Not bad, kid. Well, you know the deal. Asuma said. Naruko nodded in return. Okay, I want to see something. Go to that tree and slowing push your hand into it. Asuma said. Point to a tree. Naruko nodded and walked up to the tree. Slowly pushing her hand into the tree, Naruko made a fairly big hole with groove marks on the inside of the tree. Naruko was amazed at how much more effective it was with the few tips from Kakashi. Asuma looked at the hole, then looked inside while nodding. Naruko wondered what Asuma was doing. There are two things I can tell you straight of the bat, Asuma said, walking by to Naruko. The first is that the hole is much bigger than your arm. What you want is to make a hole the same size as your arm. This focuses the jutsu more, and the big hole shows that you are wasting chakra while using the jutsu. The smaller the hole you can make, the stronger the jutsu will be, Asuma explained. The second thing, you see the groove marks? Asuma asked, walking back to tree with Naruko. Naruko looked inside the hole she made and saw the groove marks in it, then nodded to Asuma. The gap between each groove rotation is quite wide. You should make the gap also as small as possible. This will increase the rotating speed and focus the jutsu a lot more, allowing you to lose less energy when coming into contact with any surface. Asuma continued. The whole point of wind is for it to be as thin and sharp as possible. Instead of making a fist, leave your hand open so it makes your arm like a spear. It will be much more effective. That said, you can control piercing power of the jutsu. Asuma lectured Naruko. Naruko stood there silently for a while, thinking and processing the new information. Thanks, Asuma-sensei, Naruko thanked before turning into a fox and placing Nuo on her back and bolting off. You guys have some serious competition if Naruko is already creating jutsu like that, Asuma said to his team. Seriously, wow, I never knew Naruko was so smart. Ino said surprised. Both Choji and I knew. She was like me. We both held back during the academy. But by the looks of things, Naruko more so than I, Shikamaru said, knowing that Naruko held back in the academy random training ground. Naruko spent 3 hours trying to perfect her new jutsu. Using her bunkans, Naruko had managed to make a hole just a bit bigger than her arm and decreased the gaps between the groove marks. Naruko used the ground as she didn't want to completely destroy the forest. For the last hour, Naruko had worked on trying to cover her legs and arms at that same time. She had managed to cover half of her legs while her arms were fully covered. Slowly walking back with Nuo on her back again, Naruko looked behind her at the peacefully sleeping girl. Smiling, Naruko carried Nuo back. Shortly before the entrance to the village, Naruko was suddenly surrounded by ninjas. The ninjas were completely covered in black clothes, only leaving their eyes visible. Naruko noticed a musical note symbol on their masks just above their eyes. Naruko counted that there were 8 of them. Using her tails, Naruko secured Nuo to her back, freeing one hand, but still used the other to help hold Nuo. Naruko used her hearing and smell to see if there was more hiding in the forest nearby. Happy that they weren't, Naruko got into a stance. Hand over the girl and we will let you live, the ninja in front of Naruko demanded. Off, you aren't getting her, Naruko cursed back with a deep growl. Last warning, __, the ninja said back in a more serious tone. If you leave now, I won't turn you into my personal. The ninja next to the first one said. You need A for that first. Now off if you wish to live. Naruko shot back while she switched to her demon voice with a growl. The rest of the ninjas had to hold back a laugh at the insult before getting into a stance. Hearing the sudden voice change, seeing this, Naruko growled louder and deeper, waking up Nuo. Nao panicked when she saw all the ninjas surrounding her and Naruko. Don't worry, Na-chan. I will protect you. Close your eyes until I tell you to open them. This is going to get ugly. Naruko reassured Nuo while channeling her chakra into her right arm, completely covering it. Seeing this, the ninjas surrounding her became alert and prepared of an attack. Nothing could prepare the ninja in front of Naruko for what happened next. Naruko instantly reappeared in front of the ninja and shoving her arm in his chest, killing him instantly. Using the ninja's surprise state, Naruko made 2 bunchins who also had their right arms covered and are now bunch on th. Air backs. The 2 bunchins charged the ninjas on the side, instantly killing the next ninjas closest to the bunchins. When Naruko had created the bunchins, she instantly appeared to the ninja that was behind her and killed him in the same manner. By the time the man Naruko had killed dropped her bunchins took care of another each. It all happened within a few seconds. The 2 remaining ninjas saw 6 of them get killed virtually instantly. Not wanting to stick around, the 2 ninjas attempted to flee. The 2 bunchins caught them before they could take more than a few steps. The bunchins knocked both of the ninjas out, while Naruko had created 6 more bunchins to carry the remaining dead ninjas. Naruko finally saw the aftermath. Each of the dead ninjas had a hole where the heart should be. You could clearly see through the hole. Naruko along with her bunkans bolted for the Hoage's office. When Naruko entered the village, she used the rooftops to avoid any civilians and so she could travel faster. Throughout all this, Nao kept her eyes close while tightly holding onto Naruko. Nao, you're safe now. You can open your eyes, though. Don't look back, Naruko said softly while gently tightening her grip on Nuo. Nao had been silently crying from fear of what could or might happen. Naruko had heard her hiccup a few times and used her tails to rub and comfort Nuo. Thank you, NC-han, Nao thanked quietly before falling asleep on Naruko's back. Naruko smiled before increasing her pace to the Hoage's office. Hoage's office. Jiji. Naruko called out while entering the Hoage's office. The Hokage looked up and saw 9 Narukos, which 8 of them were carrying a ninja each. Naruko, what happened? The Hokage asked while getting up and walking to the Naruko holding Nuo. I was attacked. They were after Nok-chan. 6 of them are dead while 2 are unconscious. Naruko replied. The Hokage lifted the head of one of the ninjas and saw the symbol on his forehead. He silently cursed after seeing the symbol. Odo ninja, Naruko, leave them here and head back home. Report this back to me tomorrow. The Hokage told Naruko while several Andu appeared and took the Odo ninjas. Naruko nodded before dispelling the bunkans and heading to Kakashi's home. So guys, what do you think about this Naruto story? Tell me your opinion in the comments. And if you want more Naruto what if stories, make sure to subscribe to Universe of Naruto. Thanks for watching.